Do we have more people coming in? All right, all right. Yes. Yeah. May the force be with you always. I love you. I know.
Live
With
long
hey Jake,
and
everyone.
prosper.
May the
No, I'm
force be with you, you little bastard. Hi everyone. Welcome to Toon Talk and my annoying co-host Jake with a special guest Justin Spore from
and
the Sport of the Moment
possibly more. We shall see.
and
Which
possibly more.
fun fact, I spun the sponsor reel, and guess who the sponsor of today's podcast is?
Cool.
It's none other than Spur of the Moment.
What? What a
What?
coincidence!
It actually is. No, I'm not even kidding. I have an app on my phone that has a bunch of random wheels, and that's how I decide episode sponsors for the podcast I'm doing. And it landed right
That's
on
fantastic.
Spur of
That's
the Moment.
convenient.
So Justin will be able to give you a plug, which I said that's appropriate because this is right in line with Spur of the Moment. This is something that you and the incomparable Jordan would debate, I would expect,
Where
unless you're both firmly in Star Wars camp.
where ironically, and this is why I came today. We're doing science fiction on Saturday, and one of the prerequisites was don't be a basic bitch and do Star Wars. so
There you
so
go.
it's just so funny. I was gonna do Star Trek. It's funny you're wearing. I was gonna watch Star Trek 2009, and the only reason why I didn't is because for some fucking reason it's not on Paramount Plus. The other two are,
What?
not the first one. Yeah, it's so frustrating. I was so
Amazon.
mad. So I watched the
It's
Bayformers instead.
But you know what? You don't have to worry about piece of shit copy science fiction bullshit because you have everything in Walt Disney. You can Disney Plus. You can watch everything from Star Wars.
Did
You're
you
not
just
Everything.
wrong.
say,
Why?
hang
I
on, hang on. Did you just say copy science fiction shit and not
let
refer
me
to Star Wars?
hold a second.
Bro,
We
This
are
is
not
starting hot.
celebrating science fiction. We're not celebrating. The name of the podcast is clearly May the 4th on the 5th, but celebrate on the 7th. We never say Star Trek. When we have a special Star Trek, I'm all yours. I'm all pointy ears as Spock. I'm all about being a smart ass. I'm really cool. I love uh, Captain Kirk. But this is a Star Wars. You see what is in the back?
I
Look at
do.
that.
I do.
Zoom,
And I'm sorry, I don't care how many X-Wings
zoom,
you have, none of them stand a chance
zoom,
against the Starship Enterprise.
zoom.
Oh,
Yes,
that's, I mean, okay.
I
That's a
know,
different
but
question.
When Captain Kirk says, "Oh, the Force, boom, bad against the wall," that's it.
Yeah,
Period.
he's
Game
not
over.
wrong.
Now let me go
You're
deeper.
assuming he's
Spock
fighting a
can think. No, no,
Jedi.
no. Spock can think whatever you want. Can be the best ever analyzing. Even you can bring all generations together. Data can come and tell us everything about the Jedi. Darth Vader comes into the Enterprise. Game over, bro. There's no one surviving. Not even one. Zoom,
He's,
zoom.
I
That's
mean,
it.
that scene from
No,
Rogue
no.
One, it would just be
They can,
that.
I'll tell you
Yeah.
exactly what will happen. Sure, Vader will go on a rampage. Scotty, lock him on with the transporter and send him into deep space.
And before Scotty put it, he was like, look,
Vader would
for the
have
people
to
that are
know.
just listening, I'm just move. Dude, really? Vader
Really?
doesn't know? His job is killing people, bro. That's it.
Yeah, he's too
And the
busy
Emperor
killing
gotta
people
say,
to read Scotty's technical
the real
manuals.
situation what Padme died is because the Federation killed her. Game over, bro. That's it. That's it.
The Federation didn't kill her, he killed her.
Yeah.
I mean, she died of a
First of
broken
all,
heart.
the Emperor.
After he
Actually, I know what
choked
she
her.
died. I actually I know what she died, but anyway, we'll
Okay,
talk about
okay.
that in a
Hold
minute.
on, hold on, hold on. Yeah, I'll tell you how she died. Complications with pregnancy. You know how many people die in the
No,
23rd century with
no,
complications of pregnancy?
no,
Fucking
no,
zero.
no, no,
Because they can just beam
no,
the baby out.
no, no, no. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're Star Trek wrong. You think that everything has a logic. Okay, let's start again.
To think
Welcome,
otherwise would
everyone.
be illogical.
You are fuck. You don't want to be illogical.
This is going to be the whole podcast, by the way. Okay.
You don't want to be
Actually,
illogical.
no, legitimate debate. Okay, the Jedi mind trick, right? It only works on the weak-minded. It will not work on Spock. It will not work on the vast majority of people. No, there's precedent for this, right?
Okay, just hold a second, and I'm gonna destroy you right now. In the new movie version, right? The Spock girlfriend that came from nowhere because of Hollywood has more control on him than ever in his freaking life.
And
Asura just make a face like this, and he's like, "I'm sad." Yeah,
I mean, he gets emotionally compromised in the 2009 one, so it's pretty. But to be fair, that's not Prime Spock. That's the alternate timeline Spock. So
alternate timeline Spock gets manipulated through the transitive property by Prime Spock.
That is true. Yeah,
he's so the Spock one who does is unwitted by Spock, and therefore, immediately after Kelvin timeline Spock understands exactly what happened and goes along with it because it is logical.
Blah 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 blah. Are you done? Are you done trying to destroy our beautiful and amazing moment? Are you?
Not even close. But do continue.
I'm just copying the link sent to all our followers because they're asking me for the link of the live.
Oh, I suppose I should keep an eye on the comments too. That might be smart.
Is that?
Yeah, I mean,
inner troll.
Thank you for putting that picture of me in the cover. I know that you want to be annoying. I know that you like Star Trek. Can you be nice once a year for the May the 4th?
Did I or did I not prominently feature you next to Darth Vader?
Well,
I haven't seen that.
That's not hard. It's like putting Lennon and McCarthy. It's like putting Batman and Robin. It's like it's me and Vader. The coolest.
I take it you didn't notice the Mr. Spock down in the corner.
I hate you so much. So you know who's the worst and more famous bad character in every movie that we ever seen? It's not Khan. Khan is there.
He's up there, but yeah, he's no Darth. Yeah.
But he's not Darth Vader. Do you know who he is? Not the Emperor. Do you know who he is?
Who?
Jenny from Forrest Gump. Oh, that bitch is tough, bro.
Yep. No, worst movie villain ever.
We agree. Movie villain.
Hey, Forrest, after what? 30 fucking years of telling you to fuck off? Here's your kid, and by the way, I'm dying.
No, but even worse. Hey, Forrest, I'm gonna give you the best night and blowjob ever. Oh, guess I got pregnant. I abandoned you again. I don't care about you. I abandoned you.
I know.
And then she goes back. Here's your kid.
But then he gets a shrimping boat.
Doesn't it in the sequel, because it's based on a book, and there's a second book, and I believe in the second book the kid dies of AIDS, like or the mysterious illness.
Well, really, because she dies of AIDS.
Yeah.
So probably she's carrying AIDS, but yeah, I don't know. Now I'm totally depressed, Justin.
Yeah, he in the book he's a drastically different character. He's a much meaner.
What is the name of the book?
I believe it's called Bubba or Gump and Co. I think is what it's called. Yeah.
The same people wrote it, because the first one is really a masterpiece.
Yeah, I can't remember who wrote it, but the first one's also based on a book, and
I know that.
Yeah, he's in the book.
Apparently, wait, hang on. Oh no, I'm sorry, Forrest Gump's star son. I'm looking it up. I cannot find it.
Either way, Jenny is worse than every evil character ever existed in the history of the world. Whoever that doesn't agree with that doesn't have a heart. She's the meanest and the bad. I mean, you cannot fall with somebody that says Alabama.
Okay, so Gump and Co. is the sequel. The original novel was titled Forrest Gump, and let's see. In 1980, the shrimp market has although it looks like they took elements. Yeah, they took elements of Gump and Co. and put it in the movie.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. I just know that Forrest Gump, he's less I don't know how to put this delicately. He's less simple in the books. Apparently, I've never actually read them.
Yeah, in the books is a little more complex character, but still, he
Whoa,
embraced the good of life.
whoa!
Go ahead, Jake.
Forrest Gump goes to prison in the sequel.
Yeah, he's
Wow.
he turns out to be a bad dude in the sequel. Like from what I
Well,
recall.
And he fights in the Persian Gulf War and is reunited with Lieutenant Dan.
Really?
His tank crew captures Saddam Hussein.
that's cool. That's classical Forrest.
Yeah.
Classic
They've been trying to
Forrest.
make that sequel for years. It's just, yeah, from what I heard, I think I heard the reason why they've never made it is because it's too hard to take that book and make Forrest Gump palatable. I think I've what
Yeah.
I've heard.
Wow. And who will play Forrest Gump nowadays?
Yeah.
If they were to
Tom
make a
Hanks?
sequel, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, obviously. He's still
I don't know
around.
for the age. Yeah, but it's like Forrest Gump in the sequel gotta be 50, 52, not 70.
Yeah, but Tom Hanks is in Hollywood. They'll just inject him with, some of that,
You're a really negative person today. What character are you today, Jake?
That's a good question. Riker's too optimistic. And I'm not a big Picard fan. I know that's heresy.
Why you didn't shave and you look like Data?
No, because fuck Data. Data is just Spock ordered from Wish, made in China.
Yeah. So like a Star Trek is a Star Wars from Wish, right? From
No, Star Trek was first, son.
hold a second.
No, there's no
Hold a
hold
second.
on.
Hold on. In our timeline is before, but we all know that it happened in a galaxy far, far away and a long, long time ago. So fuck you. Star Wars was first.
What
there's a
galaxy?
comic where Han Solo and Chewbacca come to our world. They very much
we actually discussed that in the previous podcast.
That's funny. It's apparently
And
super weird.
They discover Indiana Jones. Not even kidding.
Yeah.
We're not even kidding. But I mean, let's go and celebrate May the 4th. You can be a jerk. We allow you to do that.
Hey, what Roman numeral is this?
3.
No,
that's 3.
This one.
1, 2, 3.
This one, the V, just the V.
5.
Yeah,
5.
Revenge of the Fifth.
Yeah, I'm not gonna even go to May 5th yet. Cinco de Mayo. I'm not gonna go there yet. We're stuck in Star Wars for a little bit.
Before I forget, this does have to do with Star Wars. It's actually my favorite meme ever. It's got screenshots from Revenge of the Sith, and it's that part where Anakin's like, "You've turned her against me," but then the next frame down is Obi-Wan standing in the ship, but somebody's drawn like a cartoon sombrero and mustache on him.
I saw that.
It's one of my favorite memes ever.
That's so funny.
That's good. Anakin, you were my brother, and suddenly she's eating a steak. Well done. I really like that meme too.
I mean, look, say what you will about those prequel movies. We're still quoting them. We're still bringing them up. We're still talking about them.
I never hated
and you know what?
them.
I never hated them either. I hate Jar Jar Binks. That character I hated. The character itself.
Yeah,
because his development wasn't correct of the actor, the way that he's talked. The character is not bad itself because it's the evolution of our new race. The way that he portrayed the I'm stupid, that was not good. But we're still saying Roger all the time.
Yeah.
It was too political, the first one, yes, but has the same structure that every Star Wars movie.
Personally, I quite enjoyed the political intrigue and the, deep dive into intergalactic trade and commerce.
To be fair, Star Wars has always been based on political ideas. Like the originals are very much about the Vietnam War. Like that's what they're about. So it's just, I think it became more boring and more C-SPAN. But I've always joked that I would totally watch a show where it's C-SPAN in the Star Wars universe, where it's just like the democratic process of the Senate. Like I would just watch that because I think
if you think our political system is a shit show, imagine. I mean, how many planets are in the Galactic Senate? It's in the thousands,
right?
Yeah,
imagine if Biden was the lead person in the Star Wars.
Well,
it will be such a shit show.
The
And
Chancellor
that
is based off of the original one. He's based off of I want to say George W. Bush, but a couple of the senators in those
I
movies
think
are
it's
based off
Reagan.
specific people. Is it Reagan?
the
I
There's one
original
think
that's like
Chancellor.
a
that's
I
a
don't know.
personal perception.
I don't know.
yeah. I can't remember. It's there's a specific one that
It would
he's
be.
that he's
It would be. That would be. Let me think. What are some of the things the Chancellor says? I love democracy, and I love
I
when they
loved the Jedi.
when they
I was a
when
fan
That's
of the
what.
Jedi.
and
That's Watergate.
and the Jedi Knights. You
I
know they got
supported the
Hey,
Jedi.
they got the
that
swords and they
that's
turn them on
Watergate.
and they turn them on and people die.
Yeah.
And it's
The
like when they
Jedi.
and when I was born, grew up in Naboo. And I remember the Queen one time she said, "Joey, use the Force, Joey," and I did.
And, you know what? Let's correct. That Padme looks really good in that movie. I mean, in the second one, I mean, Anakin went downtown, baby.
Let me say, I get it. I get it. Little horn dog kid around dudes all the time sees that. I get it.
Right?
Yeah,
Right?
it's like a Taliban,
And there's
It's like the
sand
first woman he met, you know?
and there's sand nowhere to be found. I mean, he's there. He's there for it.
and he's not
Right?
allowed to play with his own sable.
No, he
He
can
got
play with his own
Arturito next.
lightsaber. No, he can play with his own lightsaber. Masturbation is not forbidden in the Jedi code.
It
He can't play
is,
with other people's lightsabers.
Exactly, he can't play with other people's lightsabers.
unless it's Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan.
No, that's
Yeah,
attachment.
Oh, yeah.
literally, he
That's
was attached to him.
that's attachment. It's forbidden.
I love you. You were my brother. That's too deep just for our friendship, bro.
It's a code. Anyway, code of the Jedi.
And then
I love your
he,
Biden, dude.
he falls down the stairs.
Now, let's assume that Biden is that, but how will be Donald Trump ruling galaxy?
Well, let me tell you,
It's Insidious, right?
It is.
No, he's not.
I think I would look really good in a black robe. And frankly, if you watch the movie, it's a lot like today. The galaxy is in chaos. The economy's terrible. They're setting up blockades around planets. And Sleepy Joe is just letting it happen. I told him it would happen. If I were president, I'd have it resolved in an hour. I'd come in and I would say, if you don't stop this, I will shoot lightning from my fingers, from my monstrous sized hands.
He'll come back 20 years from now. It won't be explained terribly well. You'll have to pick up a book. I know I don't read books. You will have to read one.
And Sleepy Joe says use the Force. I say use Force.
That's funny, man.
I mean,
No,
how many lasers can they block with a sword? That's all I'm saying.
Favorite Star Wars moment? Justin, go.
Oh, I mean, my favorite, probably, I just sheer like love from a child. I love the fight between Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and Darth Maul. I'm a big fan of that.
It's a good one.
Or the big fight between Obi-Wan and Anakin, also really good. But I'm always gonna love the original Star Wars. Like my love is always for that first one.
No, I'm talking about the
my...
whole franchise. The whole franchise. What about you, Jake? One of your favorite moments. One of it.
I gotta think. Okay, because I don't think I can say my favorite.
No. Many. One of the favorites.
Yeah, definitely one of my favorites is when
Use your words,
so
Jake.
yeah,
It's
I'm
a
thinking
podcast.
so the Dominion has taken over Bajor, right? And the Federation is left because they had to run. And it's the episode when they basically run the gauntlet from the Cardassian and Dominion blockade, and the Defiance leading the charge, and then all hope is lost, and then they look up, and who is it? It's General motherfucking Martok with an entire fleet of birds of prey coming in, and then they take back Deep Space Nine, and then the Dominion war continues.
Are you done?
Hey, that's a great moment. You gotta
Are you
admit.
done?
It's a great one.
Are you done?
No,
Are you done?
a really good Star Wars
Hey,
moment.
thank you. No, I mean, no, seriously, a Star Wars favorite Star Wars moment. Go.
There's a lot. I gotta
Just
say,
one. Just hit me with
I know
one.
I really like the moment when Luke refuses to kill his father in Return of the Jedi. Now, granted,
Yeah,
then he gets electrocuted afterward,
yeah,
but
it's pretty good.
it's cool in the moment.
Yeah.
It's kind of like in a movie when somebody does something really cool and then they die like
I
immediately
mean, it's
after. But
hard not to say Luke, Luke, I am your father. I mean, one of the most iconic twists in
I'm
cinematic
I'm gonna
history.
sound like the romantic here, but one of my favorite moments is I love you. I know.
Oh, that's also good.
That
Yeah, that's
moment
also
is one
good.
of the favorite moments in the whole thing. We got another guest from the amazing show,
Yeah.
the Goosebumps crew. What up, buddy?
What's going on, guys?
What's
Not
up?
much. I'm gonna welcome you really fast. One of your favorites is Star Wars moments. Go.
Ooh,
Doesn't have to be the top.
there's
Something
so
that
I
so
know it's on
many.
the
I
spot.
know it's hard to pick just one.
There really is. I mean, man. So if I go the funny route, probably the whole Han Solo accidentally kind of knocking Boba Fett into the Sarlacc pit.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Still
good.
gets me to this day. It's one of my
Uh,
favorites.
Oh,
that's also good.
you mean when he knocks him into the sandworm from
Yeah.
Arrakis?
It's not a sandworm from Maracas.
It's a
I mean,
sandworm from
it
Arrakis.
kind of is a
Really?
I don't
sandworm
think
from
I didn't
Arrakis.
notice your
Yeah.
outfit, by the way.
Yeah, I know. It was
I
very
know,
You know,
man.
deliberate.
you know, I'm gonna see you in person at some point.
I know.
Yeah, I know, bro. Oh, he's getting
Okay.
afraid. I'm gonna grab him and you're gonna beat the shit out of him and we're gonna switch.
Hit you with a
And
bag of
then we
lunchy
all gonna
oranges.
spank your booty,
See,
Jake.
I
Won't
appreciated
leave
the
a mark, but
trolling.
it'll let you know who's boss.
You know what moment was really good for me? And maybe I'm not gonna quote it as perfect, but in the new movies when Chewie and Han return to the Millennium Falcon.
Oh, that's so interesting that
Chewie
you.
work home.
I was
That
not
moment is
expecting
really
that.
good.
It is. It is. I was not expecting someone to say something from the sequel trilogy. That surprised me. That it
That
is.
moment is
That's a
really
good
good.
moment.
I was in the premiere in the Chinese theater. I'm like super excited, dude, right?
Why you got to
And
call
then
it the
when that
Chinese theater?
because that's the name of the Hollywood
That's
premieres
literally
in
its name,
Hollywood.
I
bro.
know. I'm
Yeah,
being a
that's it. That's it.
smartass. I know. I'm being a smartass. Okay, that one
Today
didn't
you're being
land.
a smartass, totally. Anyway, so I'm there, right? The tickets were really hard to get. They have an X-wing outside. It was fantastic. And I really don't care about anything that day, but when Han Solo said that, that make my day. I didn't give a damn about if it was a good or bad movie. Just see him, Han Solo saying that, that was one of my favorite parts of every part of Star Wars, like everything, right? Um,
That part was powerful.
yeah, I like the writing and stuff, right, of Star Wars. The writing is really good. Believe it or not, it being so simple and so complicated has its magic. Star Wars is not a complicated matter in the surface, but the back, the between the lines, the development. I mean, it's really something there. That's what Star Wars has a day around the world, and a Star Trek has no day.
Star Wars has a day around the world because it kind of
Well, we
sort of
have two.
rhymes.
We
Yeah,
have two.
because it kind of sort of
That
rhymes.
means two, zero, two, zero. Shut the fuck
Okay,
up.
first of all, there is a Star Trek day.
Yeah,
I
who
mean,
gives a
is
damn,
there a
bro?
Star Trek in a Disneyland? I don't think there is. Is there a Star Trek land in a theme park somewhere? I don't think there is.
Believe it or not, there used to be. But
Yeah,
but then
I
And what
completely sent that
happened?
out of my ass.
but then well no, there actually used to be, but then Paramount sold their
Then they
stake in it.
found the final frontier.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Hey, look what I found today. Look at this beauty. Look at that. Star Wars, I love you. You see? You see that beauty?
See, that's the
Anyway,
great thing
look.
about Star Wars is there's infinite stories to tell. Like
Yeah.
infinite. Like I mean, from just certain Jedi's point of view to even going back like to the very first Jedi, they could always do that, which I always thought would be a very interesting uh tidbit if they did, because in the sequels they had that the book of the Jedi
They were gonna,
And
and
it
it got
talked about the
canceled.
gray Jedi, which would be a really interesting story.
Mhm.
I kind of always thought Luke was kind of in that realm, but
I think they pretty
it
firmly
kind of showed near the
establish
end,
that
at
he
least for the
is.
sequels, it's kind of not. They
Well,
tried
that's
to,
he
but
certainly. Well, I think, and that's one of the things I think they really
that's where I
got
think the sequels
wrong.
went wrong, though.
Yeah, because they established the whole reason Luke actually does bring balance to the Force is because when he founds the new Jedi Order, he's like, listen, there's a lot of good shit here, but much like the Catholic,
Uh, I think you're mistaken, brother. The one that actually brings balance to the Force is Darth Vader sacrificing himself, killing the Emperor. He brings the balance to the Force. Luke is just a witness. A witness. Let's not make a
But
mistake. The hero
except
is Darth Vader.
except when Luke founds the new Jedi Order, at least in the extended universe novels,
30,
he
27 years after.
well, yeah, okay, so some of the rules change. For example, attachment is no longer forbidden because that's fucking stupid. Because a lot of the issues that the Jedi Order faced throughout the years could have been completely done away with if they just let them bone somebody every now and
Do you
again.
know why they? You know actually the real
Well,
fact why they
it
say
would have been
attachment is
fine
allowed now?
because that was the whole reason Anakin turned to the dark side.
I
Yeah,
know, that's what I'm saying.
but you
So
know why
they wouldn't have
actually they
been
decide to
extinct
do
if that was
that?
the case.
They decide to allow attachment because if you don't have that, you might kiss your sister. So
to be fair, when they initially kissed, they weren't technically brother and sister yet, because
I mean
in
that
the
happened in Indiana all
I
the
mean, they
time.
were. They
well, no,
just
no,
weren't
in
out loud.
in the first, technically speaking, in the first movie, Darth Vader and Anakin Skywalker, if you listen to the dialogue of that movie, are technically two separate characters. And in terms of the writing, they were technically originally supposed to be two separate characters. It isn't until Empire Strikes Back where they do the twist that he's Luke Skywalker's father, that he becomes Luke Skywalker's father. But initially, in intention, they were. That's why in the original, if you've ever read the original script for Star Wars, they're two separate characters. There's Star Killer, and then there's Anakin Skywalker. Sorry, that
Yeah,
was really nerdy.
Right, which is why they carry over into the video games with Star Killer.
Yeah.
So
But
basically, you're
yeah, I
saying
mean,
it
also
from
Vader wasn't ever meant to be like the imperial figure per se. That's
No.
why, like, and you see in A New Hope, he's kind of under the thumb of Tarkin at the time,
Yeah.
rather than the other way around. But obviously, that character was way too popular, and they decided, oh, let's change this up, which was a smart move. I
Mm.
mean, there's been countless interviews with Mark Hamill when was he told about the twist? Did they wait till the day of? And I think he said he was the only one who knew, like a
yeah,
year
he says
before.
that. But we cannot trust Mark Hamill, bro. With all due respect,
Yeah,
I see the way he reacts when they ask him something, and that's pretty cool, man. He's Luke Skywalker, but he didn't develop Luke Skywalker. He was really young as an actor. He was just following rules. The moment that he actually present Luke Skywalker as he wanted it to be, he fucked it up in the new ones because becomes a clown.
that
The first scene,
wasn't at all Mark Hamill.
Yeah,
I'm
that
pretty
wasn't
sure it
Mark
was.
Hamill.
that wasn't.
No.
He's actually come out and
No.
said, like,
Yeah, he said he
you
didn't
know,
want none of
he
that.
didn't agree with the way that went, but
He
it's
saw it
not his
eventually, but
choice.
he didn't get it at first. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't trust him to be honest with you. I really
Whatever.
don't. I love.
Ryan Johnson made a steaming pile of shit. It's all his fault.
See, I might be the odd one out
Yeah,
here, but I don't actually have an issue with what they did with Luke Skywalker in that movie. I in fact, I'm starting to feel maybe I'm the odd one out on this, but I actually
Yeah,
like
you
that
are.
movie.
Well,
no,
you're
I
not the
like
one
him.
wearing a Star Trek uniform.
No, but to be honest with you, if we are not hardcore arrogant fans, the whole thing is amazing. From the first one to the last one. Yes,
Yeah.
it could be better. Yes, it could have better improvement to our perception. Yes, but let's be honest, bro. Not even one of us, and a lot of people in this planet has accomplished what George Lucas did.
Right,
No,
but okay, I'm speaking specifically on, well, the new trilogy, specifically The Last Jedi. I got to disagree. There's nothing about that movie that's good, other than the fact it's pretty. It's pretty. No,
Oh.
no, it's pretty. No, dude, there's a whole subplot about bullshit animal rights on
Look,
fucking space
it,
Las Vegas.
it's not
Yeah,
a
I'm kind
flawless
of with Jake on
movie.
this one only because this is so Force Awakens set up something really great. I
Yeah.
thought. I
Yeah.
mean, it wasn't the greatest film, but it set up something great.
Mhm.
And
Come
then
on, that's a
literally,
great
yeah, Last
moment.
Jedi, it's like they ignored all that and just said, I'll do what I want. And he did that. And then they try to retract going into the third one,
Yeah.
which was abysmal because
Oh, bad. That
they
one's
try to
bad.
make Rey a Skywalker for one when she's a Palpatine, and that's just insanity on its face.
I
He,
still
But
like
the
the
Emperor
the
is
phase.
fact that
back for some
Palpatine
reason.
even came back anyway, I thought was kind of odd. You know, the whole thing with Snoke was just a throwaway character, and so it was kind of a jumbled mess. I
Yeah.
think if they could have stuck with their original plans, probably from Force Awakens, the
Yeah.
trilogy wouldn't have got as much hate.
And I blame Ryan
Now,
Johnson because J.J.
no,
Abrams
but wait,
clearly had a vision, and then
but
Ryan
wait.
Johnson said, "No, fuck this."
Toon Talk 2.0 actually started. The first episode we talk about this. I understand what you guys saying, and I agree with that. But let's not forget that it was a relaunch of the brand.
Right, but that's what I'm
It's
saying. The
exactly the
last
same adapt
no,
to this
the last
era.
Jedi, the
I
last
know the Last
Jedi
Jedi is
doesn't.
complicated.
That's what I'm saying. It's got nothing. It's got virtually zero similarities, other than Luke is kind of a Yoda figure, except he's actually
Mm,
cynical, and Yoda's just playing the role. Like it's not the Empire. It's not a relaunch of the Empire Strikes Back in any way, shape, or
No, no,
form.
no,
It's
no. I'm
just
talking
bad.
about the whole trilogy.
Yeah, yeah, I
Well,
know, I
it's a
know.
bad that middle look. I don't mind them, but it's not a good middle part. It's a fine sequel, in my opinion. It's a fine sequel, but it's not a good middle part. It doesn't make for a cohesive trilogy. Like I think anyone who likes those movies even can agree that it is not a cohesive trilogy, like whatsoever.
I
no, I
wish I
mean,
could be a
then the whole
kid
thing
when I
with
watched
Finn,
them.
like they just threw away whatever he was supposed to do as a side
Yeah.
character.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a jumbled mess. It really was,
Well,
and
yeah,
everybody was really wanting to see Jedi Master Luke Skywalker,
Yeah.
not like
Yeah.
the crumbled mess that we ended up getting. And
But
then it's all
yes.
because he saw Ben's dream, and it's like, oh, I better kill this sucker now. When he was all for like trying to save his father, who granted murdered children and thousands of Jedi amongst other things. Um,
Planets,
wouldn't give up on his dad, but the moment Ben has a bad dream, I'm gonna kill this little shit. It's like, no, come
Yeah.
on, man. I was like,
Like
Luke wouldn't do
I
that.
always say that the character Luke Skywalker is, I don't like him. It became a joke, but the reality is that Darth Vader was doing a great job. He was an emperor, but he was doing a great job. And then his 17-year-old
was
fucking
he
kid,
though?
that is the fucking little bitch that just fall in love with an old guy that met 3 days ago. 3 days ago, he decides to take on over the empire because somebody talked nice to him. The reality is that totally influenced by Obi-Wan Kenobi, that he was a little bitch that went and run away to save his life.
I think you're skipping some pretty major events, like, oh, I don't
The
know,
main
Imperial
the main
stormtroopers killing his
character,
family.
that's fine.
No
Hey, you
biggie.
gotta gain control. The best
Gun
character in Star
control.
Wars
The
is Darth
Empire has
Vader.
gun control.
Darth
You're
Vader
not
is a
on.
good guy.
He's
Darth
not a
Vader
good
is
guy.
so
Oh my god.
conflictuated so much that he needs to defend his wannabe kid that
Well,
thinks that he's a Jedi. No, yet he's not a Jedi.
the only defense Luke has as far as staying the with the light side over the dark side is the fact that he was raised by a loving family, whereas Anakin grew up in slavery with his mother and then got to hold his mother while she was dying. So he had tragic events through his whole life, and plus he was
Yeah,
raised by the Jedi Order and trying to follow the Jedi rules,
and he
knowingly
was too
breaking
old.
them though with Padme. So
And
right.
he was too old. He lost his mom, and Qui-Gon is the one that want to train him. And when he's dying, he forced Obi-Wan, that just graduate from Padawan, to embrace him as a brother and train him when he wasn't ready to train somebody. He just
mhm.
he was a Padawan. So you're right. The whole thing is fucked up. That's what Anakin and Darth Vader are the coolest guy on earth because he overcome everything to become a powerful guy. I know, Jake, it's hard to understand because you're a
No,
fucking Star Trek bitch,
it's
but
not hard to understand. I just think you're glossing over some pretty significant things. Like
okay, okay,
I
okay, okay.
like the
Let's
massacre
be
of
clear that I
children,
was rooting
the
for Pablo Escobar
enslavement
in
of a
Narcos, okay?
galaxy. You were
Bro,
rooting
I
for what?
was rooting for Pablo Escobar in Narcos, okay? So don't blame me if I love Darth Vader.
Okay, that's fair.
Thank you.
I mean,
come on.
Anakin easily has the best story arc, in my opinion, in the entire Star Wars
Yeah.
universe. Not just the movie, just the universe.
Well,
Because
and
then
the
it transcends
go
into the Clone Wars, and then now recently, I don't know if you are all caught up on Ahsoka or not, but oh man, those flashback scenes and everything that Hayden was in was really cool.
My
And the
favorite
transition trying to teach her was amazing.
my
I
favorite
couldn't
shot.
watch it, bro.
I
Oh, you
my
couldn't.
Go
my
ahead.
favorite sorry. Oh, my favorite shot in all of Star Wars is in that show. And it's the one where it's Anakin and he walks through like the smoke or the water and he like drops his shoulders and he turns into Darth Vader for a second and he continues
Right.
walking. That was a sick, just an individual
Yeah,
shot. That was
that's what I'm
fucking
talking about. The
sick.
transition was
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
cool.
because in
and
the
even
movies
Obi-Wan.
it's really
Obi-Wan
fast, but
show
the
was
transition is complicated.
the Obi-Wan show was not all that great in the beginning, and I can see why they were showing Obi-Wan the way he was after the fall of the Jedi. He lost his best friend, et cetera, et cetera. I get all that, but the end of that, and again, it's when Hayden showed up as Vader. Those were easily the best parts in that show, especially their fight. Now, I will say, I kind of feel like Vader should have won a little bit, sending Obi-Wan into like reclusiveness more, but it was still cool to see.
Yeah. So Haley
Especially
popped in the
when
comment. Oh, go
the
ahead.
mask
Sorry.
broke.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
just
know.
do you guys know when I want to share this? When the mask actually broke, the light being blue and red was totally a mistake. Did you
I
guys
did
know
read
that?
that. Yeah, I did read that.
Oh
I
no,
It
I
didn't
didn't
was
know
know.
it was a mistake. I thought that
so
was
he got
planned.
the sword. He got the sword, the other red sword. They're doing the shot, and when the special effect happened and he appears, that was just a mistake of the camera didn't check, and that's what he's red and blue. And the director was like, "We're keeping it," and everyone's like, "No, it's a rehearsal. No, we're fucking keeping it because it
Huh.
happened really cool."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Huh.
No, that was really
Haley.
actually, I did not know that. That was
Yeah.
I thought that was planned because you can see when Anakin is talking pretty much as Anakin, even his voice is Anakin's,
Yeah.
and it's a blue beam that's on his face, like it's the blue lighting. So it's kind of like the light side there. But then as soon as he says, you
It
didn't
became red.
kill Anakin Skywalker, and the voice starts to change a little bit more into Vader, and he says, I did, and it's all red. And I was like, oh, I was like, that's so good. I was like, whoever thought of that? But total accident. Yeah, that's
It was an accident. It
I
was
will
the force,
say
bro.
that's
It's not an
crazy.
accident. It
no.
was the force.
I will say
Go ahead, Jake.
one of the cool things about some of the new media is that they make Darth Vader like a lot darker.
It's
So you got
scary in
like
some instances,
that's
yeah.
what I'm saying. And then like even shit, what series? I think it's the Obi-Wan series when he comes in. I haven't watched the series because I can't take a lot of the new Star Wars shit. It's just not good. But apparently he comes in and he's pissed and he's like throwing people against walls, and then at the end of Rogue
Yeah.
One, like
Like
yeah,
dialed up to 11. It's
Rogue
pretty
yeah.
One
like
is really what kicked off that whole campaign for
I was
people
gonna
wanting
tell
like a
you.
Vader movie or a show about him tracking down and hunting the rest of the Jedi.
I see
yeah,
that I would probably watch a
I would
show
totally watch
But
centered
that.
around
let me
Vader.
share something. This
Mhm.
is weird being such a crazy fan of Star Wars. My favorite movie personally, I'm not saying it's the best written one. My favorite one is Empire Strike Back, but my second one is Rogue One, to be honest with you
It's
guys, from
good.
everything.
Oh, Rogue
It's
One's
good.
so good.
It's good, yeah. The
I wish Han
scale.
Solo was as good
Yeah. I mean, that
because
killed theatrical Star Wars
because
movies for years.
it
Yeah.
did. It really did. Which is a shame because like I was not hyped that whole movie until the end when it showed Darth Maul because that's my favorite
Yeah.
Oh, I
Sith
fucking
character.
hated that.
Probably character overall. And I was like, oh yes. Because I read the books and the graphic novel and talked about his whole reign with the Black Sun and stuff he did for the Emperor before Phantom Menace happened. And he was just a badass. So
He
when
was a
Phantom Menace
badass.
came out, I was like, oh my God, I was like double-edged lightsaber, everybody creamed their jeans, all nerdgasms
Yeah.
everywhere.
See,
So
my
I
Hey,
mean,
two
Nick, you know that Lord Darth Maul is based in Genghis Khan. Do you know that? You
It's
know
based on
Genghis
what?
Khan? Genghis Khan, the Asian guy that ruled the world before the Caesars.
Oh, Genghis Khan.
oh,
Genghis,
oh, Genghis Khan. Oh
Genghis
yeah.
Khan, Genghis Khan. Sorry, in Latin America, say
oh
Genghis
no.
Khan. It is when not the one that we see in the movie. What you just
Oh,
mentioned, all that he did for the emperor before, right, is based on that because he went and kicked the shit out of everyone. Like he was like the toughest freaking hitman ever in
See,
the story.
and that's
Yeah,
actually
and
why
that showed like how blind the Jedi were because he went to, at least in the books, he went to organizations like that could challenge the Emperor once he took over, and he just wiped them out.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
nobody blinked an eye at it. And somehow or another, the Jedi
Well,
just never caught on until he revealed himself
it's established
on
that the
Tatooine.
Jedi, yeah, it's established that the Jedi are pretty arrogant at that point. But I always
Mhm.
said in the prequels, I think they really, and I'm not even going to call it a mistake because it's not like the movie suffered because of it, but I always thought it would have been better. I think Count Dooku would have been a better role in Darth Maul's role in
Yes.
episode one. And
Yes.
then he gets killed in the end. And I think it would have worked better if he killed Qui-Gon and then
Yeah.
Obi-Wan killed Dooku, but then Darth Maul comes in episode 2 and is now the Emperor's enforcer, and it would be like we all see it coming because we know Anakin Skywalker becomes Darth Vader, but it would be a nice bait and switch just like in the vacuum of the story to be like that Darth Maul is Anakin's ultimate test, right? And then
Yeah.
when Anakin beats Darth Maul, that's when the Emperor kind of reveals himself and does the whole like I can teach you how to save Padme's life, that whole bit.
My issue
That's a good
with
impression.
the Darth Maul in Obi or in the Han Solo, that cameo, is if you only watch the movies, that cameo is incomprehensible. Because if you only watch the movies, so far as you're concerned, the last time you saw Darth Maul, he was dead and chopped in half and fell down a hole. So you're like, where the fuck did he come from? How is he here? Who is this guy? And like the movie clearly knows that audiences aren't going to immediately recognize him because they have him light his lightsaber for no reason. Like
That
like
yeah, that is one thing that
Still, he
Disney
was very
is.
recognizable though, because I mean the tattoos, the horns. I mean, it was
Yeah.
still played by Ray Park too.
here's
So I
here's what I will
mean,
say in
it was
response to
recognizable, but
that.
like I gotta look and see, but I don't remember if the Clone Wars animated show was
In the
running
animated
before,
show, it
during, or after
is
the Han
before.
Solo.
It's before that. Yeah.
It's
He
Yeah,
had
before.
it's
come
before.
back by that point.
So
Yeah.
if the Clone Wars show was happening, then if anybody watches that, they would know Darth Maul is
Right.
alive still
That
But
to
but
that's
that
my
what.
point
point.
is
Anyway,
but my
during
point
that
is
point in time.
yeah, I was gonna say my point is if you don't watch that show, you have no fucking clue. You're like, there's no real rhyme or reason for him to be back in the context of the like that's a major issue I have with Star Wars. And when we were on, I think Jake's Arte Media podcast, me and my partner, we sort of made the point that a lot of modern Star Wars requires homework. Like you have to watch a show or read a book or read a comic book in order to understand like a detail that's kind of a major part of the movie, like in The Last Jedi, the relationship between Leia and that blue-haired chick, whose name I don't even remember. That movie really wants you to think that they're like best friends, but most of the movie you're like, who is this chick? It turns out
And
she's a major character in a book.
and who the fuck does she think she
Well, I mean,
is?
what is that's what Marvel does though now. I mean, it used to be just tied to movies only, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
now
but
they've
that's
got the
when
Loki shows and that carry over into the movies, and then
I
they have
yeah.
all Miss Marvel, all that other stuff, and I mean that's how it is now.
Yeah,
I
I would make
mean,
the case though that that's when the MCU started to suffer though, is when they started relying on people. Oh, they'll totally watch the series.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
a lot
I,
of
I would
people
agree.
didn't
Yeah.
because the series was bad. Like I remember when I went to the theater to watch Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange, I hadn't watched WandaVision. I knew vaguely what happened, but I didn't want to watch that show. And half
It's
the
really
movie
good.
is no, it's
yeah, I was
it
about to
there's
say
no
I
way.
actually really enjoyed that one.
Wanda Vision is good, man.
It's
It's fun.
it's okay up until the last two episodes, then it becomes very bad very
But
quickly.
my point is like I hadn't watched that show. The entire premise of that movie is making a really big assumption on its audience.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Yeah.
It's not that you can't
To an
follow
extent,
along.
because
Yeah,
you can connect the dots of what happened with Infinity War and Endgame of Vision dying to
Yeah.
the Doctor Strange
Vision
movie
dies.
and why Wanda's doing what she's been doing. But it
Yeah.
does really help, obviously, if you have some knowledge of WandaVision.
right.
And at
Here's
the end
what
of the day, we live in a era that you can just Google and read the Wikipedia before going to watch the movie.
Right.
Fucking Jake,
Right,
don't
but
be a
but
bitch.
no, but it's like Justin said, I don't want homework to go watch a movie.
Yeah.
Why not? Real fans will read everything. Hold on a second. And I know what you're saying. I understand that we don't supposed to read something. That is better when we read it by itself and it's a surprise. I get it, right? One fact that it always blows my mind in the first comic of Darth Vader, not this era, it was a previous one in the 90s. They explained about the suit, the dark suit that he's wearing after transform from Anakin. You know that is inflicting pain in his ankles all the time, and electroshocks him so he gets angrier, and he's that shocks me a lot. And I mean, us we know about it, but many fans don't know that. And
So
it's cool when you go and read something and you go like, "Holy shit, that was he's angry all the time." Right? It's like
so
putting fleece your fucking balls all
so
fucking day.
so why doesn't he just use the Force to make it stop?
I think he
Because that
does.
was he changed the Force.
I've wondered that about a lot of
He does,
things in
Justin. You're
Star Wars.
right.
I
In
think he
certain
does.
moments, the Force could have been used. And the biggest one to me was Darth Maul and Obi-Wan right at the end of that fight. Did Darth Maul not have the high ground and he just watched Obi-Wan flip over him?
Yep.
Wasn't the whole
That's
thing of
true.
Revenge of the Sith the high ground? It's like, bro, it's like if I saw him jump into the air, immediately I'm force pushing that bitch like back or
Or why
down the
don't you?
hole or something. Or
There's a
you got a
V.
lightsaber handy while you've been slashing around. Just chop that sucker in half like you did Anakin later.
Well, there's a
Lots of
VR.
confusion.
You're right.
There's a VR game where the guy, I forget what the lightsaber form is called, which that's another thing that the fans made up and then they incorporated it into the series canon. But anyway, so there's a form where basically the crux of the technique is mid combat you turn your lightsaber off and then turn it back on to give a killing blow. And the other thing you do in that style is you use a lot of force pushing and pulling. So like you'll force push somebody against a wall and then just stab them ahead with your lightsaber. And I love the canonical version as to why the Sith and Jedi don't use that is because it's like, well, it's frowned upon. I don't give a shit. Like,
I mean, you want to talk
Yeah,
about
I can
force
see the
powers.
Jedi maybe saying that, but Sith, nah, Sith wouldn't care.
Now
Sith are
Sid
just
will
there to
get it
Sith
be.
would
there.
be all about that, but again,
Yeah.
but if the Sith do that, every Jedi would have died well before the Emperor. Like he wouldn't have needed to take over the galaxy. Be like, just force push them against the wall and stab them in the face.
Well, what about the force super speed that Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon Jinn use at the beginning of the beginning of the Phantom Menace that they never use again?
Yeah.
Yeah, thought that was a little odd. I mean, they seem to get random force powers every now and again. Like Anakin really can't jump 20 feet over to Obi-Wan without getting hacked and slashed. But yeah, you can see Jedi jump like 1,000 feet apparently in every other movie. Like especially in the Phantom Menace when they're on those platforms, on those
That's
Oh
true.
walkways.
yeah.
That is so true.
Like, dude, he jumped way up there. Like that's way higher than Anakin had to jump, and
But
we've
I
seen
kind of
Anakin
like
jump too.
that.
Why
So
does a
I mean,
Jedi
I kind
never
of
make
like that.
themselves levitate?
I was gonna tell you
Apparently there's a
because
reason for it.
there's. I think that grammatically, I mean not grammatically, I mean cinematography. You They didn't want to make superheroes, so yes, they control the Force, but the Force is not a full controllable all the time because it's the dark side of the Force and the other Force are having a fight behind the people they're doing. That's what they cannot turn off and do that. They just react. I don't know if you guys play professional sports or at least college sports. Everything happened real fast. In So I'm assuming, right, as a fan, that the fight that you say with Darth Maul, yes, is correct. He was having the higher ground, but he didn't have the ability to do it. However, Obi-Wan is recognizing the position, saying, "I'm having the higher ground." He's already recognized how to react. We're used to see it. It's like when you see Tom Brady throwing a pass and you go like, he's gonna make it. Good. Supposedly a fight happens in nanoseconds. So I would want to believe that they are trying to make it real, right? And not Superman always fighting or always flying or always kidding. That because I'm a nerd of Star Wars and I will defend it with my life, Jake. Take that shirt off, for God's sake.
Never.
To be fair, the Force from the prequels to the original trilogy is inconsistent. Like it's in the prequels where all that superhero shit starts to happen. In the original, the Force was more understand to be more of a religious like
Yeah.
idea. It was like they were more like they were monks. And then the newer stuff kind of tries to bring it back to that. Like you'll notice Rogue One doesn't even remotely mention midichlorians. Like they very much tried to move away from that. But yeah, to be fair, the prequels is where a lot of the superhero shit came from.
Well, because in the original
And I think
trilogy,
that's
Luke
because they were trying
strains.
to really like shine a light on the pinnacle of the Jedi. Like that was the time of the Jedi, the golden age. And they wanted to show you something you hadn't seen before because these were all Jedi in their prime. This is when they were training younglings. Uh, obviously Master Yoda had his council. I mean, it was just a whole nother time for the Jedi. Whereas later, all they had was a very old Obi-Wan who didn't really get to train Luke for like 2 seconds before he died. And then he had to go train with Yoda, who he didn't even stay for training the whole entire time. He left and then came back. So you didn't really get the full Jedi experience in the original trilogy, I think, just due to the fact that there was only two Jedi training. One was dead and the other one was on his way out. So,
Yeah.
and it's
So really
unfortunate, but I mean,
fast.
like that's I think that really built the story and told you how strong Luke really was.
Well, so that's but that
Because
yeah.
despite all the limited training and everything, he was still able to wield the Force with pretty great accuracy for the most part.
Do you think
And
is
then
if
even take
do you
on
think
Darth
that Luke
Vader
is
and
stronger
beat
than
him.
Anakin? You think that
Uh,
Luke is stronger than Anakin? I don't think so.
Well, he beat him in a
I think
fight,
he's stronger
so
than Darth Vader at that time because he clearly beat him. But if you're talking about like Luke Skywalker in his prime, like say like during the Mandalorian, when you saw that all that going on,
Yeah.
no,
No,
Anakin would still beat Luke for sure
of course,
if it's
Anakin. What
Anakin
it
in his
never.
prime.
Luke never beats Darth Vader. Never.
yeah, he does.
When? Tell me when.
Return of the
Return of the
Jedi.
Jedi, and he cut his
No, he
hand
Yeah.
off,
doesn't.
and
Oh yeah,
He
Return of the
falls.
Jedi.
He drops. He doesn't. He chopped his hand, and he drops.
well,
He did never
I
defeat
don't
him.
know. Generally speaking, this when you're laying down and going like this is pretty much the universal symbol for stop. I'm done. I would count that
yeah,
as a victory.
I gotta say that was the defeat of Vader at that point. But that
Mm,
opened up the turning point to where he could show his dad that you have a choice and you don't have to do this. That's why he threw his lightsaber away and started talking to the Emperor, saying, you failed. I'll never turn. I'm a Jedi like my father before me.
yeah,
And
but
that's
at
when Vader
at
got
that
up.
moment, he's fighting Anakin. He's not fighting Darth Vader because at the moment that happened, already Darth Vader is starting. Yes, sir.
No,
Yes,
because he's still
he
debating when
got
the
soft on him.
Emperor's. No, but he's
Yeah, I was
still
gonna say the
debating when
only
the
reason that
Emperor's.
the end of that fight happened was because Vader mentioned after searching his feelings, saying, "You have a sister.
A
If you won't
sister.
turn,
Yeah,
I'll turn her." So he's still Vader, and that's when Luke got angry enough to
yeah, you're right.
actually just defeat the shit out of Vader. And it wasn't until he saw his son not only like kind of almost sacrificing himself for him and hearing his words
Yeah,
before he turned on the Emperor and then became Anakin once more.
yeah. Okay. Fuck no. I hate Luke. It's a little bitch. Sorry. He is.
My thing with
Real fast. Go ahead.
No,
Sorry,
he's not my
Justin.
favorite either, but
No, he's not my favorite. I was just gonna say my thing with Luke is sort of a similar I have across. There's a lot of stuff in Star Wars tends to happen off screen. So like he goes from being Empire Strikes Back, he's like coward, he's defeated, he's losing to like Return of the Jedi Luke, and he's competent and he's been through all this training, and we never get to see that training. And I understand it probably happens in supplemental material, but that's sort of my
Again,
point.
again, homework.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think
homework.
they
Yeah.
did continue that in the books, if I'm not mistaken, but I never
In the
read any of
books.
that.
The novelizations of
So
the movies are
There were too
usually
many
very,
like
very
yeah, there
rich.
were too many novelizations of things out there, and the extended universe of Star Wars is just as vast as Star Wars itself. I mean, it's just endless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will
My
say
we
though, like I wish
present
Mara Jade would have made an
she
appearance in
she
the
she
movies,
we
should.
or at least the
present
show.
we present an audiobook in one of our episodes that actually I like a lot because the Star Wars is 5 hours, this radio drama. So we can feel Luke being a kid and hanging with his friends and understanding the reality of why he wants to go. You have a better Luke Skywalker development of a character, so you see the right curve, right? In the movie's too fast, like you say, it's too
Yeah.
fast, but really fast. Nick, you first. Worst Star Wars moment for you?
Oh,
One of the worst Star Wars moment. Go. The one of the
Oh,
worst. Could be simple or complicated. One that you will be like, why the hell this happened?
well, that's the entire Last Jedi movie for me. Like I just couldn't understand like once she found Luke and I was so excited. I was like, we're gonna finally gonna get Master Skywalker. Yeah, and he just chugs the blue milk and then kind of like just throws it. Yeah, and just he's not the Luke Skywalker we should have got, and it super bummed me out. That was easily the worst moment in Star Wars for me. That
Justin?
decision.
I mean, it's so hard for me not to pick any of Hayden Christensen's bad line reads, but I hate sand. It's coarse and irritating. I slaughtered them like animals. Sorry, I'm having
It's
flashbacks.
holding me back.
Um, but no, it's gonna be for me, Rise of Skywalker for kind of similar reasons. That movie pretty much killed Star Wars for me. Like I that movie made me so mad. I was so angry. We walked out of it and we rewrote that entire trilogy. We did like a 2-hour podcast rewriting it. Like I hated it that much, and it's just like I've never enjoyed Star Wars the same way since. So it's probably
I'm
that
sorry,
movie.
Justin. I'm sorry for you, bro.
Oh,
Jake.
I hated that movie.
Okay, so for me, it's a tie. It's a tie between somehow Emperor Palpatine has returned, or the end of the Rise of Skywalker when they're like, send out the signal, ask all ships, and everyone in the fucking galaxy shows up. And my first thought was, why the fuck didn't they do that in the first goddamn movie?
I do love somehow
Like, what
Palpatine
the
has returned.
shit?
Yeah,
Like the
for
fact that
me,
they actually put it in dialogue in the movie, somehow Palpatine has returned.
I'm a single. I'm a more simple guy. To be honest, something that is really simple and drive me crazy, and I say it before it's a tie as well, is when in the Star Wars the New Hope, Luke tell C-3PO, tell me the story, and he says, I'm not programmed to tell a story, right? And then in the Return of the Jedi, he's perfectly programmed to tell the story to the Ewoks. That simple
Maybe,
fact drive me fucking nuts.
maybe
Maybe they upgraded him.
I was gonna say maybe Luke was like, you know what, 3PO, I gotta say, you're
Yeah, that's
annoying as
bullshit,
shit.
Jake.
You got to be able to tell stories, bro.
And
Let's
like I said, I'm a simple guy. The other one, in the first one of the prequels, when R2 had jets in his fucking supporting system so he could fly. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong? Since when you can fly, you little piece of trash can garbage shit? Why you
well
didn't flew in the other ones?
because the
Now,
Empire
see, here
passed
I
a
thought
law.
you were going to bring up like the whole ship exploding and then Leia's just floating out in space and somehow
Oh, I
magically
hated that,
she
man.
like forces her way back. Like, I
Uh,
thought that was going to come up. Surprised it didn't. I mean, that's on
So,
my shit list for sure, but it wasn't
but
above everything else. I
there's
thought.
actual physics there though, because I mean, if
Is there?
do what?
Is there though? Is
Yeah,
Her
there?
body, her
well,
body
yeah,
didn't explode and become frozen.
Frozen. Yes, that's the issue I have. But well, hang on. I don't remember. Were they close to a planet? I legitimately don't remember.
no, she was trying to get back into the
No,
ship.
But were they close to a sun of any kind?
I don't think so,
no.
no.
Okay, I couldn't remember. Okay, well then, yeah, it's bullshit. But
I mean, my favorite part of that was the memes, the shooting star memes that came out of it. Like, how could you not love those?
those are great. But
Because they're great.
I do
Well, those
remember,
were better than the moment we got in the movie, though. So that's okay.
yeah, I do
So,
remember though one
Nick,
of the.
Sometimes things are
Oh,
so
go
bad
ahead,
they can
Jake.
be mean.
I was gonna say I remember one of the criticisms I had. Which movie? I think it was the Last Jedi at the beginning when they're dropping the bombs. Right, that's the Last Jedi.
Yeah, yes, because that's where you
Okay,
Dropping the
meet
bombs,
Rose.
the
Yeah,
last
yeah.
yeah.
Jedi, yeah.
That's where you meet Rose,
And
yeah.
I said last time I checked, fucking bombs would float in space, but I was incorrect. They were close enough to the planet that gravity would affect them. As to how much the distance would
Huh,
actually be, there's precedent there though.
interesting.
I'm gonna do another thing, and this is gonna be hard. Let's start with you, Nick, because I've been keeping that order. Your three top characters of Star Wars. Your 3 favorite ones. It's a tough one.
Like of all Star Wars or just
All the style, everything.
all Star
Even
Wars?
you can talk to me, even whatever show, book, or whatever. Your top 3, the 3 of the list for you.
Darth Maul's number 1. Uh, Anakin is number 2.
What
And
Anakin?
oh man, third spot.
Anakin for what movie? Because Anakin has
So
different colors and shapes.
I prefer Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker.
Jedi Knight. Okay,
Like
cool.
I like the Clone Wars
Yeah, the
Anakin
Clone
Skywalker.
Wars. That's nice. That's good. Third one.
Ooh. I think I gotta give it to Mace Windu. I like me some
He's
Sam
pretty good.
Jackson.
Surprise, but that's nice.
And
That's surprising.
There's too
That's nice.
many motherfucking Sith in this motherfucking galaxy.
They should bring him back. I'm telling you, we talked about this. You could totally bring back Mace Windu. Sam Jackson wants to
there
do
is
it.
the rumor right now that that's what they're doing.
They should. They absolutely should.
You know what that's
Justin,
gonna
your
that's
3.
you know what that's
Go
gonna
ahead. Go
do
ahead.
though? It's so this is Star Wars has, and it's a problem that's gonna happen by virtue of how they're doing it, but it's got a lot of prequel problems where we've talked about some already, where you're doing a prequel and you have to up the game, right? Because the audience is gonna want it.
Yeah.
But then that creates problems in the story. So if
Yeah.
you bring back Mace Windu, it's going to be post Fall of the Empire, right?
Yeah. Well, that's.
But then
I
it begs
know
the
what you mean.
question. But then it begs the question: where the fuck were you?
Yeah.
And how
That's
dare
why I
you
hate
show your
prequels.
face now
Well,
after all those people died?
I can't stand prequels.
Well, he's hiding
for that
because
reason.
Yoda, Obi-Wan went into hiding too.
Yeah.
I mean, they felt
Okay, that's fair.
they were defeated. Most of the
Also,
Jedi were dead. They had to go into hiding.
it's a
So
big
Mace is
galaxy,
only
so
missing a hand too, and he got electrocuted to shit.
yeah.
That's
So
fair.
you know,
That's fair.
I'm sure
That's
he
a
like is weak
So
and has to
Justin,
heal up.
that's a legit answer.
Justin,
Thank you. Yeah.
your
That's
3 favorite characters from
Oh, I
all
mean,
everything, even video games, man. Go crazy.
video games. I mean,
Shock
okay.
the audience.
I mean, it's hard for me not to say Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. I love him. He's the best part of the prequels. Like of the things I have an issue with in those movies, he's not one of them. Star Killer from Force Awakens or from Force Unleashed. He's super fun. He's had some really fun designs. And I'm gonna go video games for 2 of them. Cal Kestis. I really like Cal
Cal
Kestis.
Kestis.
I'm a
Yeah, I
fan.
totally forgot about it.
I have some issues with, and it's like you say with prequels where it's like, yeah, you have to escalate, but you can't escalate too far. Like a big thing when Obi-Wan was out, people were like, oh, how come Obi-Wan doesn't kill Darth Vader? How come Darth Vader? I saw TikTok after TikTok, and it's like the honest answer is because Episode 4 has to happen, and those characters can't die. It's the same thing with Leia in that show where like Leia is invincible. She's invincible in that show. There's nothing can happen to her, nothing can hurt her, nothing can harm her because she has to be alive to die in Episode 9. Like, so there's no tension. There's why I hate prequels. I can't stand prequels.
That's why
Jake.
Black Widow's such a bad movie because you
Yes.
know,
Exactly.
like if you'd seen that before, and if you'd seen that in chronological order, you go, oh shit, like it would have been better. But you know, she walks away from it all, so there's no
Exactly.
tension.
There's no tension in the story because you know these characters can't get hurt. They can't be mauled. They can't be maimed. They can't miss a limb because they have to be intact to die. Like Obi-Wan has to survive to die in Episode 4.
Exactly. Yep.
Jake, 3 favorite characters.
Probably Mr. Spock, Captain James T. Kirk, and then Captain Ben.
I knew it, bro.
Knew this
Okay,
was
let me
coming. I
rephrase
fucking
that.
knew that was coming.
If you're gonna fucking love Toon Talk 2.0, I'm gonna think that this never happened. A Star Wars favorite 3 characters, top 3.
Okay, so I actually have to think about this. I'd say I'm not doing this to troll, honestly. Minus the new trilogy, which I don't even count. In my head canon, it doesn't exist. If they were like, Jake, fix Star Wars, I would be like, okay, opening of episode 10 is Luke, like it gives like kind of like a brief montage of all those movies, and then Luke wakes up and goes, ah. He goes, oh. And then he
That's your
consults Yoda.
favorite.
No, but hang on. And then he consults Yoda, and he's like, possibility this is not for certain. And then the whole movie is basically just Luke trying to avoid that bullshit. But anyway, that leads me to Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker is, until the new trilogy, which, like I said, I don't count, Luke Skywalker is one of the two most iconic characters, the other being Darth Vader. Yeah, I gotta go Darth Vader, and not in this order because Darth Vader's probably number one for me. But
Okay.
I'm a Qui-Gon Jinn fan. I think
Okay,
he was,
that's fair. That's fair.
I like his
I'm
philosophy.
surprised of every one of you guys. I mean, of course, I'm gonna start from bottom up, right? So everybody knows what the top for me. But probably my third favorite is this is tough. So I really hate the Skywalkers, to be honest with you. Luke and
Really, I
Leia will
hadn't
never be
noticed.
in my top 10. But I mean, I like that. The third one probably is Boba Fett. I like him. I really like him. The second one, without a doubt, is Han Solo. Han Solo developed the way that we all talk, the way that we perceive solving things with words and being not scrappy looking. I know that, Jake, you're not scrappy looking, right? But I really love the characters, Han Solo, and obviously the first one gonna be the Empire Strikes Back, Darth Vader. That Darth Vader is my favorite one. When he's already an adult, consolidated, like serious, and he doesn't give a flying fuck about doing what it needs to be done for the galaxy.
It's some
So,
good shit.
yeah, that's my three things. Now, worst character. Everybody knows that it's Leia for me, but
Jar
give me
Jar.
your three. Yeah, go ahead. Give me your. Go ahead. Go ahead, Nick. Just give me your three worst characters.
Three worst characters. Oh my gosh. I mean, I don't really have a specific order for these, I guess. They're just characters I didn't really enjoy. Like I didn't like obviously Jar Jar. That was just I blame him for everything that happened to the old Republic.
It's
mean,
this,
yeah,
it's
He
Oh,
gave
that's
true.
fair.
It's
he
true.
gave the Chancellor power. He's the one who voted the Chancellor into power.
Yeah,
So
It
yeah,
is his fault. Actually,
It
you were
is
the
totally
first
his fault,
person. You were the first person to lay that out for me, Nick, and I now ascribe to the belief that Jar Jar Binks was the Dark Lord of the Sith all along.
You guys,
yeah, actually, it's a theory.
Yeah.
have you guys ever heard what happened to Jar Jar after the original trilogy?
He moved to Portland and become gay.
What do you mean
Sort
became
of, no.
gay?
He wound up on Naboo, a performer for children who people torture and hate because he caused the Empire. So people like treat him like shit because he caused
good.
the Empire. It's in a book, one of the books somewhere.
Well, that's good because
The
he
rise
sucked.
and fall of Jar Jar.
He's like a social pariah on Naboo
But
because
wait,
what he did.
who named him? Who named him? Right, and who gave him the power of the position of power?
I mean, Amidala or Padme did.
Padme.
Last time I checked, a senator didn't have the ability to name their replacement.
Well, he's her
Well,
proxy.
let's
they're
say-
referring to like the Phantom Menace when she did a vote of no confidence in Chancellor Valorum, in
Yeah.
which case that led the way for Palpatine to jump in his spot, and then
Jar
she
Jar's
left
the one who
Jar
gives
Jar
him-
in charge.
I was just gonna say.
I
gives him
think that
powers.
she's not ready to
to
be a
give him
leader.
executive
Padme's not
power
ready.
to make
Maybe she was
decisions
already a
on behalf
queen.
of Naboo. So Jar Jar's like, oh, what would Padme do? Oh yeah, because Palpatine just totally tricked you into voting for him.
To be fair, Padme's
So then, so Padme
Padme's
and Jar Jar, I think, are not together.
no. But to be fair,
But that's
Padme
actually
is
probably one of my other least favorite characters is Padme. Now, I like Natalie Portman and other things like V for Vendetta and what have you, but her role
Or
as
naked.
Padme in these is just dumb.
Yeah.
And it honestly, like, I don't know why they thought it was a good idea to make her however old she was in Phantom Menace, like 16, 17 probably.
Well, she had to be
And
old enough to
14.
be a political
She's 14.
leader.
Like, I love the meme that like Anakin is there, like 8 years old, and he's like, "I'm gonna hit that," and then she's looking down at him, and it's like, "I'm gonna hit that." Because
She's
it is,
14.
it's weird.
Yeah, it is. It is weird.
She's 14 and
Oh,
he's
it's
8.
Yeah. She's
So when
14.
they actually have sex, how old was she and how old was Anakin?
It's 10 years. This
They said
Phantom
10 years had passed.
10 years. So he's 18 and she's like, I can't remember how much older. It's 10 years between the first one and the second one.
So she'd be 24.
So she'd be like, if it's 24,
And
if she
18.
was 14.
And he's like
It's not-
18.
That's
So
not that bad, but I mean, like, hey,
I
he's
know.
legal.
High five, Anakin.
bad, but it's
Like when he's
it's just the
8,
fact
it's
of
real
fairness.
bad.
It's like,
Is
Yeah,
Anakin barely
yeah,
legal?
yeah.
Anakin barely.
Is Anakin
Fairly
barely
legal
legal?
Jedi's.
We can finally see that. We can finally see his lightsaber.
Legally, of course, legally.
I don't know. Like
But they
Justin.
also
there's not very
don't.
many characters I hate.
Yeah.
Oh, I do. I do. Bad, bro.
Most of
Bad.
them are pretty good, but I will say probably my other least favorite. Like, I guess if we have to go with like main characters, like I
Oh,
don't like.
whoever.
This is really weird. If we're gonna say this as like in timestamp, I don't like Boba Fett in the Book of Boba Fett.
That's because that
That
show's
was
bad.
probably
Yeah.
my least favorite character as well. Now, if it's Empire Boba Fett, that was badass. He was
Yeah, he
badass.
was a
Um,
badass.
but what I got in the Book of Boba Fett was a punk bitch who got beat up every episode and had to go heal while everybody else did everything cool. And
Yeah.
then when he finally showed up to fight, he just gets his ass beat again. So it's like, cool. I thought this was supposed to be Boba Fett. And Mandalorian like really shined a light on how badass he could be. So I thought, oh man, this Book of Boba Fett show is gonna be amazing. No, no, it's not. And they try to make Boba Fett a good guy too, which I thought was really weird.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's my least
What
favorite.
about you, Justin?
I don't. I'm like Sean. I don't really. There aren't really any characters I hate now. Like so I'm gonna give you the characters that I used to hate, but I've since gotten over my hatred. So not in any particular order. Ahsoka. Ahsoka drives me crazy as a character.
Oh,
Because how is she still, how did she survive Order 66? Her constant and incessant survival is kind of annoying narratively for me. I Darth Maul, I had similar feelings. I raged against him coming back in Clone Wars for many years. I was like, it doesn't make any sense. I hate it. It's a content. I used to rail against continuity errors. The continuity of it doesn't make any sense, especially how he dies. I hate it. It drives me crazy. My partner Jordan, he has told me that in context it's significantly less terrible, but I hated it out of context. And then Cassian Andor, I cannot stand that show. I don't get it. I watched one episode and thought it was the most boring thing I ever saw. So
I
many
couldn't even watch it.
people said it was
I haven't even
good.
watched it yet.
It
actually,
was
it's
Yeah, I've heard
good.
so
that.
boring. I
It's
was like,
good.
who is this guy?
It's
Why
good.
do I give a shit?
But see, I didn't like his
Hey,
character anyway.
I didn't
that's
know who
my
he
friend
was.
Diego Luna. Shut the fuck up. He did a great job acting. Shut the fuck up.
Well, the thing was when they first announced that show, I went to Jordan and I said, "Oh, they're making a Cassian Andor show." And his first response to me, and I'm not joking, was, "Who's Cassian Andor?" So that's kind of I was like, "He's the guy from Rogue One," and he was like, "Which guy from Rogue One?" So that's kind of my point about that show for me is I just don't know who he is or why I should care. Like I didn't care enough about him in Rogue One as a character. Fine performance, fine performance. Nothing against it. That's
He
nothing against their
is
performance. It's all in the writing for me.
he is the movie. It's Cash Under movies, Rogue One.
Yeah. I mean, I don't feel any of those characters are really all that strong. They like in that movie. To me, that movie, I love it because of its visuals and its cinematography. I don't love it because of its characters. Like my favorite parts in that
I
movie
love
are.
Donnie Yen.
I mean, he's okay, but my favorite moment in that movie is where you see the AT-ATs from the ground, and you like truly
Yeah.
appreciate just how massive they are. That's the coolest moment for me. That and the Darth Vader bit, because Darth Vader's amazing.
Yeah, that Darth
So
Vader scene was epic.
everything that he does is magic. It's like a song from the police from the 80s. Every little thing he does is magic. Jake, what's up? What about you?
Oh God, I can only pick 3. Well, somebody already mentioned Jar Jar, so I'm going to forego
Oh,
him.
you can if
No,
that's what you
because
hate.
I hate way more than 3 characters. So Admiral Holdo, that dumb
Oh, the Holdo
purple-haired
maneuver.
cunt. That's another thing. If you can do that, like if that, and she's like in her mind, like it's very obvious in the story, it's not a gamble. She knows it will work. Why the fuck wouldn't you space kamikaze way before that? Like you would just make ships that were
Spaceships are
piloted.
expensive.
Okay, so make a ship, kamikaze it. put a bunch of explosives in a fighter and have an R2 unit pilot it and then ram it into fucking Star Destroyers.
I didn't love the Holdo maneuver. I got nothing.
It's
I got nothing.
it's dumber than shit. I hate Ray so much.
Oh, really? I thought you were gonna say Kylo Ren. You've been bitching about Kylo Ren
Oh,
all the time.
I haven't gotten to Kylo
Ah,
Ren
yeah.
yet. I hate all the new characters in the new trilogy, and that's not an understatement.
All of them.
Finn's a fucking idiot.
BB-8. You hate BB-8.
I
Come
fucking
on.
hate BB-8 so
I knew
goddamn
it.
much. But yeah, Kylo Ren. I probably hate Rey a little bit more than Kylo Ren, but Kylo is such a bitch.
What are you talking about? Oh,
Exactly. Yeah.
My thing with Kylo Ren is they want you to think he's way cooler than he is. Like I played Star Wars Battlefront 2, and there is a section in that game where you're Kylo Ren and you're walking through like slaughtering the Resistance. And that like 5-minute segment of that video game was 1,000 times cooler than anything that character does in the movies. Like anything.
Yeah, but what you didn't
Actually, I
hear
don't
was he was
dislike him.
crying the whole time.
That's
Hey,
no, I
I like him. I mean, he's
No,
not my
it's-
favorite, but I like Kylo Ren. I
It's
think
not.
that, and we went on a rant. We went on a rant like for 2 hours, Jake and me, what I like Kylo Ren, but it's okay. Now I don't know if it's the right order, but Rey, I really don't like Rey. Please, for the audience, I'm not a misogynist. Okay,
No. When I
I'm
actually
not.
read that there was going to be a female lead, I was like, "Oh, that's cool. That's different."
But Rey, she's so flat.
bland.
Her character is so flat. There's nothing that she gives me. It's
Daisy
like she
Ridley is
won
not a good actress.
the
I'm
lottery,
sorry.
and somebody put freaking something in her body, and suddenly she's become a good character. I didn't like her. My second character that I hate to the core is Princess Leia, guys.
Yeah, I know
Prince
he's convinced that Princess Leia is a murderer and
is
a
the
war
worst
criminal.
of the movie. She's the one that destroys everything. She's so bad that after all the mess, she says, "Go and save our son." You bitch, he's he's not gonna survive. You're sending him to, and I can't stand Leia. Leia, in the beginning, she's a spoiled brat. In the middle, is a spoiled brat, and at the end, is an arrogant woman that thinks she got. So I really don't like her. She's so arrogant that she denies the Force. She doesn't want to deal with that, so she preferred to rule the rebels. And I just think her. I mean, the character is well designed, but I think that she's the switch that changed everything for the worst.
But
Like
doesn't
I say, I'm not a
doesn't I was just gonna say, doesn't the Force Awakens or doesn't one of the sequel trilogy movies make the case that she's been a Jedi since she was like Luke's, like when Luke became a Jedi, like since she was young, like she like accepted. I hate that movie, so I'm totally with you on shitting on it. I'm just
she does. They portray that, but she decided not to for the good of the galaxy, because I mean she's a spoiled brat the whole freaking time. You guys watch Obi-Wan? I think you didn't. When you see her
Yeah.
as a girl, it just drives me nuts. Suddenly, the little girl have a big experience with Obi-Wan, and then when he see her again, he doesn't even remember. She doesn't even remember the guy.
Well,
I
it's
mean,
a
that's bad
prequel
writing.
problem.
Yeah, it's bad. That's
Yeah,
bad
That's
writing.
a huge problem.
again.
And the
Yeah,
character I hate the worst. Okay, the character I hate the most, and probably I'm just gonna do it for fun, is Wade. That motherfucker had more attention than he's supposed. You guys don't even know who Wade is. Look at your faces.
I don't recognize the
Does
name.
Luke Skywalker best friend, that he's the one that tells him to join the academy.
Oh,
Oh,
Wedge.
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 Yeah, Wade.
Wedge.
I was
I
like,
was
was
like,
Wade like
sorry,
a
yeah, sorry. But
was
remember
Wa-
that character is more developed actually in the radio drama. Remember, we have
Yeah.
a whole development of him,
Mhm.
and he's the one that is pushing Luke to do everything, right? And I can't stand. He's the one that tell him, "You don't understand, Luke. I hope you guys listen to it. There's a world outside. You gotta go and see it." La la la. And then when they see each other again, I mean, the guy just say hellos and die, right? His life was fucking worthless. So I just hate him for that.
I literally thought when you said Wade, I thought you were talking about one of the guys in the admittedly hilarious SNL skits where Kylo Ren does undercover boss.
Those are funny. Those are
That
funny.
was
Yeah,
so
those are
funny.
good.
I actually don't
what do you
hate that.
guys?
That's my favorite version of Kylo Ren.
That's my favorite. It's like, so what do you guys think of Kylo Ren?
Yeah, it's really funny.
So do you guys
Yeah,
think he would have been scarier had he not taken off the mask? Like if he just kept it on the whole time, would it have affected that character?
I'm
Yes, but
pretty
here's
sure they did that on purpose for the development of the artist. They needed to show his face.
yeah,
Oh
but
yeah, well,
also
yeah. I mean, yeah.
so I guess
I think it would have
here's
been better if they could have waited to do the reveal of his face until he actually met with Han in
Yeah.
person and Han got him to take it off.
Oh,
Oof,
that
that
would have
would
been
be
good.
amazing.
that would
That
have
would have
been
been really
better.
I
good.
think that would have been better
Well, but my beef with
because it
him
would have
wearing
had a more impact in that
yeah.
scene. Because that scene to me, I was like, it's like, nah, this is kind of lame. Like the
But
whole
that's
setup, the
I
whole
mean, Harrison Ford
meeting.
loved it.
he taking the hat,
To be
the
fair, like
helmet
Harrison
in and
Ford wanted
out.
Han Solo to die back in the original trilogy.
in
He
Empire
was
End of
begging for
Empire.
it, and it
Yeah.
never
But
happened. So he's
him
probably
taking
super
the
happy it finally happened.
him taking the helmet on and off is an iconography that he doesn't know if he's want to be good or bad. That's what
Yes.
it is. So that's
Yes.
they're
Yeah.
portraying that the whole thing. When he put it on, he became his grandfather, his idol, the guy that he
Yes.
wants to be.
Well,
However, when he take it
in
off,
his mind.
he's the guy. Of course, he's a bipolar guy. When he take it off, he's the guy that he's supposed to be.
No, he's
The
not
one that actually
he's not bipolar. He has an
when he
inferiority
kissed with
complex.
Ray, I swear I was in the movie theater. I go like "fuck" and everybody laughed because when they
Yeah,
kiss, it's
because
like
it
the
was
worst moment
silly.
ever.
My view on it was always when the helmet's on, yeah, he does try to be like Darth Vader, but when the helmet's off, he apparently, without knowing it, tried to be more like Anakin Skywalker from the prequels and a crybaby.
Yeah.
So
I
Well,
think
he
the
was a
feel like he
idea.
got
crybaby with
both.
the helmet
I
on
feel
too.
like he accomplished both of those there. Like he was able to be kind of cool when he had the helmet on, Vader style, killing stuff. But then when he took it off, he was a big crybaby, kind of like Anakin in Episode 2.
Let's
So
not forget who was his mother, the little spoiled brat. Let's not forget that. Let's keep that in mind. We are really similar to our parents, and every tantrum is I can't even fathom an argument, a real argument between they had him and they separate. Imagine having an argument with Princess Leia in the house because how you want to send your son to be trained with your brother, even your brother is a fucked up because it is, and he want to bring something that is
oh
done.
yeah.
Imagine Han Solo
And then
saying,
imagine
"Why
that
you trying to
awkward
take him
Thanksgiving
out?"
moment where Luke has to explain, I tried to kill your son while he was sleeping because he had a bad dream.
So
I
yeah,
know.
about that.
That's awkward.
Where's Ben? Yeah,
Yeah,
Ooh.
Yeah,
about
about
that.
that.
about
We
that.
had a hunting incident.
How long do you
How
think
about some
Luke
free milk?
how long do you think Luke tried to pass off like his absence at assuming they would have Thanksgiving in the galaxy far, far away? Like how many years do you think he would have been able to pull that off? It's like, oh, he just wanted to stay back and study, he's a real go-getter,
He's a
that
good
kid.
guy.
Then
He's
like
a
then like
He's
hoot.
my
then like
prime pupil.
then like 4 years later they're like, okay, seriously, where the fuck is Ben? He graduated 3 years ago. Okay, guys.
Oh,
I
Um,
really didn't want to
oh,
have to tell
it's
you this, but
No, that's
don't get
why
I
he
angry,
gotta
does that
Chewie.
force projection of himself, so he's not really there, and then tells
okay, yeah,
them
but that
so
that
that
would
way when he tries to like kill him or kick him in the gut, right in the nuts, he's not even there.
and put him
And
He's
down
I'm
just
like
like,
pretty
he
sure
was
Han
a.
Solo said,
not even
"I
here.
told you we didn't supposed to send it with your brother." I'm pretty sure that's what they separated. Like I
Rohan,
told you,
we were having problems, and I didn't want him to live in a house
you
where we were
always want to do
always
what you want to
fighting.
do.
Why
Oh,
does
so you
Ben look
said,
so much like Luke?
oh, so you
It's just the Skywalker genes.
that would explain
Yeah,
That's
it
your
all.
then.
Skywalker genes. I can be scrappy looking, but I'm not a crazy bastard like your whole family.
So
Yeah,
there's a-
Han
so
Solo is the shit.
so there's
Did you
actually
notice?
there's one change I would have made to that movie where the mask actually would have made sense. Because the reason I hate the Kylo Ren mask is because he doesn't need it. He's playing make believe. He's playing
Yes,
dress up.
but
However, if you had it when Luke goes in and attempts to murder
Yeah, he
him,
got a scar or something. Yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, like a really bad one to the point where he wants to cover up his disfigured face, right?
To be
Something
fair,
easy.
Yeah, something would have been better.
the him wearing the mask, that's the idea. I mean, it's clumsy, but that's the idea. Is he's supposed to be playing make believe? He's supposed to be a Kyle or a Darth Vader fanboy. Like that's the idea. I'm not
He
saying
was
it works,
grandpa.
and I'm not saying it's clumsy, but that's the idea. Is he idolizes Darth Vader because Luke Skywalker betrayed him as he sees it.
Yeah, but I
Yeah,
guess so. I had an idea that I laid out in an earlier episode of Toon Talk where I think if they had tweaked it just a bit and all things being largely the same, but if they had made his motivation so Kylo Ren is obviously, it's like you said, he's a Darth Vader fanboy.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have that have been part of his character where he's constantly, and that's how he gets seduced by the dark side. My
Yes.
idea was, okay, he goes to train and he's a Skywalker, so he's got it in his blood. But what if he's mediocre at best at all the Jedi stuff and he just can't get it? Then all of a sudden he learns about the truth about his grandfather and he learns all about Darth Vader and blah blah blah. And it says, oh
Mm,
well, that's part of my lineage too. So maybe I can't be a Jedi, but I might be one hell of a Sith. And then that's
interesting.
his
Well, see, and that's the
motivation.
kicker too. They don't ever say he's a Sith.
Right,
They
yeah.
don't even go down the path
no,
of
he's
Sith.
just a
Like,
he's just uh, a favorite guy to control the Skywalkers. He's not even that powerful, Kylo Ren.
yeah, he's on the scale of like Jedi and Sith. He's not very powerful.
He's like
Like,
number 3 from 1 to 10.
Yeah, I
yeah,
don't
they
Unless
remember.
don't play
unless
him
you
off
need
as
to
very
cut
powerful.
unless you need to cut your tights in the back. Oh, he's a master in that. Remember that stupid move? How he goes like this and they
Yeah,
cut his chains? Like,
yeah.
bro, yeah, the movies are not. I will defend this franchise till the dead, but they're not good movies. But they're not as. I mean, they're bad, but not as bad. I see worst.
There's a critic
Pretty
I
bad.
follow who he said
Quentin Mania.
Star Wars at the end of the day is like Sex and Pizza. Even if it's bad pizza, it's still pizza. If you
I
like
don't want to
pizza,
know why you didn't say sex.
because you were expecting me to.
Yeah. Let's say that
Okay, but to that argument,
it's like
assuming
sex with a top model, right? And sex with
With
the
Sally from the Quickie
starfish.
Mart, you know.
There you go.
That's not unfair. That's not unfair.
Well, Sally from the Quickie Mart probably put more intention that a super top model that just plays you know, the starfish. You never know. You never know.
I don't know. It's like, I guess we'll never know. It's the Walmart
yeah,
version of a
Yeah, I
model, I
will
guess.
not.
You know,
Yeah,
I'm not.
I'm not.
she rocks them sweatpants, boy.
Yeah.
Sweatpants,
So
flip flops.
can you do me a big favor, Jake, and take that fucking shirt off after this hour and a half of showing you why we are best?
Never. Which, by the
He's
way,
gonna live in that now.
to answer your
I'm just
question,
waiting for him to
Rachel,
take it off
yes,
and to have another one underneath it.
That would be so fucking fun. If you take it off, I got
that would
a
be
Star
funny.
Trek in the bottom.
That would be
Um,
funny. Oh, I should have worn
Or
a
it'd be
Star Trek
blue,
undershirt.
just
That
a
would have been
different
funny.
color Star Trek
Yeah.
uniform.
But yes, to answer your question, Rachel, in the comments, I am in costume, but Star Trek. And Haley popped in earlier, said she wanted to say hi in the chat and letting Justin and you all know that I'm okay and we weren't infected too bad by the tornado.
Oh, good. Yeah, we were. Yeah, she
can
was
you
just like,
update us in what? What? The tornado where? What happened? What?
oh, she was having issues. There was some sort of tornado. She was gonna be here today, but she said it on the Discord that she couldn't be because there was a tornado. But she said it like really casually.
Yeah.
So
So everyone was understandably concerned, but she was like, "Oh no, it just knocked out internet for a while," and we were like, "Okay, probably should have
Okay.
led with that."
yeah. Way to bury the lead, Haley.
That's good. Well, be careful, Haley, please. And Rachel just trolled Jake because he's dressed. I mean, I'm gonna blame him. He's so distracted that he got confused, so that's what he's wearing that shirt.
Oh no, this was completely intentional. Don't
Blah
try to
blah
pin this on
blah
insanity.
blah blah. I'm not even listening to you,
I am
brother.
of
Sorry.
sound and logical mind, sir.
So
You're wearing
can I
the wrong
mention?
color uniform, so I don't think you are.
No, well, for no, there
Spock
are
wears
office.
blue.
Well, right, but there are other Vulcans in Star Trek.
No.
Yeah,
No,
there are.
no. With whatever you say is no, Jake. Today.
That's just
Yeah.
factually
I don't know if I'm
untrue.
on Star Trek to challenge
Remember
you.
that. Remember Black Lives Matter. Now I'm gonna bring Jake. Life don't matter. Calm down. I know what I'm talking about.
I don't
You
know
don't
what
matter
that
today,
has
bro.
to do with Black Lives
You
Matter.
don't need to matter. I cares. Sue me. But who's gonna really, bro? I don't. Why are you trying to hurt my feelings? Star Trek today? Today?
Because I'm trying to teach you a lesson that you must let go of your feelings.
Oh my
If you want to
dear
become
God.
if you want to become one with the Force, you must let go.
I don't. I like the
Anger
dark
leads to
side of the
hate,
Force.
and hate
I
leads to
love the dark
suffering.
side of the Force. Be
Max
angry,
is
be
suffering
mean.
hard
I
right
love
now.
it.
I'm saying
I
the dark
work
side is
with the
more fun.
law. I work with the law. I'm the dark side of the Force, son.
I will admit one thing. In terms of fun, like fun in a series, Star Wars is way more fun than Star Trek.
Yeah.
It is.
It's-
This is where the
my
fun begins.
when I was a kid, my dad was a major Star Trek guy. He used to watch The Next Generation every single night. And he used to be like, you could stay up as late as you want, but you have to watch Star Trek with me. And I'd be like,
That's
cool,
fair.
I'll stay up late. And I'd watch about 2 minutes of it, and then I'd pass the fuck out, and he carried me off to bed. And as a kid, that show was perpetually mind blowing to me because I couldn't believe that a show that took place in space could be so unbelievably boring. Like I always like, but it's in space. There's lasers and robots, but it was so boring. I think the first Star Trek thing I genuinely liked was First Contact. Like before that,
Oh, I'm sorry. First
More
I
like-
Contact.
used to
I
watch
was thinking
Next
Nemesis.
Generation
My
with
bad.
my
My bad.
grandfather, and I love Next Generation, but I can't get into any other series of
Have you
Star Trek. I mean,
have you tried Deep Space Nine?
I try.
yes.
Oh,
Nothing. They don't. I just can't. I just can't. It's
The only thing
just.
I like out of that is what was her name? Jerry Ryan played the character Seven of Nine.
that was Voyager.
Is that Voyager? Okay,
Yeah.
so that was the best part
You.
about Voyager.
I
I
think you
don't
would
even
actually.
remember Deep Space Nine then.
That I was gonna say because most
Besides Captain Janeway, I think wasn't that
that
Deep
was
Space Nine?
nope. That's Voyager.
The Voyager apparently was okay. That was good. Deep Space Nine
Yeah,
wasn't shit.
Voyager gets a lot of hate because a lot of people put it at the bottom of their like Star Trek totem pole, but that doesn't mean it's bad. Dude, I highly recommend Star Trek Deep Space Nine because it's my personal favorite.
To
It's
be
really
honest, I
fucking
just like
good.
Spock and Kirk. I just like Spock and Kirk,
I love the
and
original series, but Deep
I
Space
like the
Nine is where it's
original
at.
series. And actually, the movies that J.J. Abrams did, the first one, I really like it. The first
I
one.
like
The-
the first one.
I love the
Yeah, I
first
did
one.
like the first one.
The other ones are dog
I
shit.
mean, the beginning, seeing Kirk as a kid is really cool, man.
It
That is
is.
a good beginning.
The whole
Star
movie's
Trek Into
great.
Darkness.
So we have another topic today because I think we cover Star Wars, and yes, we don't care about Star Trek. It's about Cinco de Mayo. You fucking Americans, not you, Justin. You're Canadian.
I
You
have
just that's not in
family
the
living in Mexico, so
so
you know.
really Cinco de Mayo is not the Independent Days, motherfucker. Can we
No.
stop that shit?
But
Seriously, it's stupid.
but I am all for a holiday that commemorates the defeat of the French.
Yes, exactly. That's the reality. It's a battle, Mexico against the French.
I'm there for
Huh.
it.
I actually
It's tough.
Independent Days.
You mean
It's
it's not about
Independent Days
tacos,
is
margaritas?
it's
yes,
tacos,
exactly. That's what it
margaritas,
is.
and defeating the French. So I'm there for it.
Let me tell you what the real Cinco de Mayo is. Are you ready?
yeah,
It's
I
what
actually have no idea.
Julio Cesar Chavez created the first bank union for illegal immigrants in America so they could get paid correctly and save their money. That's the
Huh.
Cinco de Mayo.
Really?
But it's the independence of being, going
Hmm.
to pick up oranges and all that. That's what the Cinco. The reality is the Mexican independence. That's another story. Supposed to be September, right? But actually, Mexico is the only country in the world that celebrates Independence Day when it was over, not when it actually begins. Because actually started in November 11th. Don't ask me why. It's just, you know,
Makes sense though.
I know, but the reality is that Porfirio Diaz, the one of the presidents in Mexico back in the day, his birthday was a day before the Independence Day, so he just put it there to have a full 2 day celebration. But again, the Independence
Like his
Day is
thinking.
September. Yeah, he was thinking. He saw a lot of the country to the States. Yeah, but it was a mess. That guy was a mess. But yeah, so every time somebody told me happy independence, I go like, fuck you, no.
Huh.
First of all, I'm Argentinian, just to start, right? Let's just start from that. I'm not Mexican.
I just learned something new. I didn't know that. I'd heard of Cinco de Mayo. I had no idea, being a Canadian and being two. I had no idea what it actually was.
I learned it because when I study college here in the States, I was the president of the Latinos.
Yeah.
And I needed to learn that. And I was like, oh, because the first time that I went to to talk about I say, guys, this is not, so they explained me that it was the Julio Cesar Chavez factor. So that's what America recognized that. So yeah, that was the second topic that we had today. So I just wanted to share with you freaking gringos. Yes, you too. And you Canadian, no, I don't care. You guys know what
pretty gringo.
You're pretty gringo too.
I don't know.
You know
it's always
what?
been Revenge of the Fifth for me. So
There you go. And I love that. I love that. But we just put it in the context. What is next, Mr. Jake?
I believe it's time for recommendations.
All right, just start. Guide us, please, on this.
All right, so my first recommendation for my movie is Star Trek 2009.
Hijo de tu puta madre. You're really gonna do that? Really, dude?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Jake, you're making me regret having not put in the effort to watch that movie.
This is
because I would have watched it.
Why are you gonna put your bicep in my face? Are you gonna give me a lariat?
Yeah, I'm gonna put because I haven't showered. Brother. I haven't showered in 3 days, so I'm gonna go like this. This is what pushes this.
Ooh.
Dumbass. So that's a good recommendation. Thank you, Jake. Justin, what is your recommendation?
Puta madre.
I go on.
I'm gonna recommend. It's funny. It's funny that he watched Star Trek because I'm gonna just on our podcast on Saturday we're gonna be talking about science fiction movies. So my recommendation is gonna be District 9 because I watched District 9 yesterday and that movie's fucking great. Like
Peter Jackson did a good job.
I was so. It's actually he produced it. It's actually Neil Blomkamp who directed it.
I thought he directed it. Well,
what's funny is I don't know if you guys have heard of the movie Elysium with Matt Damon.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Neil Blomkamp went to Vancouver Film School, a local film school here in Canada, and I went to tour there because I was going to go there. And the director of the school was like giving me a tour, and there was a poster of Elysium, and I had just seen it, and I thought it was fucking awful. But I'm like, do I sit here and shit all over this movie of this alumni, of this like prestigious alumni? And I'm like trying to be delicate and be like soft about it. And the director's like, yeah, it was a piece of shit. It was like, oh, okay, we're going there. All right. But no, District 9 is phenomenal. It's the most like realistic. If aliens came to Earth, I think that's what it would be like. Like I think that's similar. If they were any level of like at any level of all of less intelligent than us, less articulate than us, we would probably treat them like shit. Like I sort of feel like we probably would. But no,
that's a good recommendation.
Yeah, that's great. I enjoyed it thoroughly, and I'm going to talk about it on Saturday.
Go ahead. Watch? It's not the same premise, but I mean, it made me think of it for some reason. But I don't know if you ever watched Battle LA.
Yes, I watch. I like it.
Yes, I
love those kind of movies. I actually like those kind of movies.
I really enjoyed that movie. Like I think it's underrated. It didn't get a lot of great response, I guess, when it first came out, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. But you talking about District 9, which is a great movie. Oh, there goes my power. So if I cut out, you'll know why. We're under a tornado watch. We've been having bad storms too.
Oh no!
Oh, shit. So, just be careful. We've got a lot of work to do.
We had some lightning strike very close to my house, scared the shit out of my animals, and my power flickered for a second. It was pretty
Don't
fun.
talk like that about
your happened here, to
family,
be honest.
Please. All right, my recommendation is gonna be. I don't usually have my recommendation. I'm not prepared for it, but for a reason, whatever you guys say, just bring me something. And it's not even related, but if you haven't watched the Blair Witch Project, that's my recommendation for tonight.
Good one.
I got a great experience with that. I was studying journalism right in college in Portland, and my job in the Advocate, that was the newspaper of the college, it was covering the entertainment area, right? So they gave me tickets to watch. Right up front the college, it was a movie theater. But at that time, my dorm to the college is a little forest next to the parking lot. So I went, and let's remember that that movie, social media didn't exist. Of course, you guys know, but for the audience, social media didn't exist. So we actually believed that it was somebody that found the tapes because the press release said that. And I went and watched the movie. And it was at 11:50 when I came out at 12. I mean, probably 1 a.m. And then I look at my dorm like a mile and a half to cross the fucking woods to get back to my dorm. You guys don't understand how fast I was. I was faster than a speeding bullet. It was like, you guys don't understand. And for a reason, when you start District 9, I don't have idea why. Just get me into the fear factor. And I remember that experience. So if you haven't seen the Blair Witch Project, the first one, go and see it. It's a really good classic of how to make a cheap movie good.
It's funny how you mentioned that you thought it was real. That movie came out when I was a kid, and my cousin made me think that movie was real. So I legitimately thought that movie was like real for years. It wasn't until like I was in my 20s that I was like, wait, that wasn't a real movie? Like that wasn't real? That was fictional? So it was
Yeah, bro.
effective.
I read the press release and I have them somewhere, and they include pictures that's supposed to be the pictures of things. And I saw the press, and I just arrived at the States, so I've been more, right? I've been in the States probably 3 months, right? And I look at the pictures and the press release, I go like, fuck, man, what they're putting this on the movies. And then I was scared as shit. And I remember that sensation. And actually, nobody knew that it was a fake movie. It took them 7 months until the cast, went to an MTV award to give an award when people went like, "Oh, they're alive!" Till that moment, it was a great marketing because people thought that they were like that. I know that you're too young for that, Jake,
No, I
but
saw it. I called bullshit when my friend Eric was trying to convince me it was a real movie.
how old were you when you watched it?
Oh God, I mean, we 11, 12?
Yeah, it was
But
about
it
that. Yeah.
wasn't the release.
Yeah, no, we saw it. I didn't see it in the theater, but he did. I saw it soon after it got released on. But people were talking about it, and I said, "There's no fucking way it's real because they wouldn't put it in a movie theater. That would be like the subject of an investigation."
Yeah, well, they released FBI files and everything. They did it really good, bro.
Yeah, I know, but they were fake FBI files, right? But
Yeah, of course, but we didn't know
mm,
back in the day. You cannot go to a
I don't
I
computer
know,
and
told my
look
man.
at
daughter
it.
about that, had her watch it. She didn't like it. Um, but she does love Paranormal Activity, which is along similar lines. Because when
It's
that
on
movie
criminal
premiered,
lines.
the same thing kind of happened.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, "Is it real?" It's like, holy crap!
No.
Because I mean, they did such a good job with their marketing and
Yeah,
how they presented the film and how they did the film. And that kind of started that whole found footage genre, I
yeah.
think, with Blair Witch. And
Oh yeah.
we've had some great ones. Cloverfield. I actually just found one recently called Hell House LLC. Uh,
I haven't
that
watched
one's
that.
actually that one's really good. I've been enjoying that. So
What is the name again?
it's called Hell House LLC.
Cool. I will watch
It's
it tonight. I
they
love
do it
that.
kind of like found footage documentary style ish, and it's really well done.
Do you know where it is? What is streaming service?
So I know Prime Video has the third one. They probably have the first one too. The second
Okay,
one,
cool.
though, I don't think is on any streaming service that you can watch for free. I think you have to pay
So
for
it's
that.
a franchise. So it's a franchise already.
Yeah, there's three films that I know of.
I didn't know about that. Nice. Thank you for that. Jake, what is next in recommendations? TV show, series, or mini series?
So I would have said Deep Space Nine, but I've already recommended it
Jesus
in a
Christ.
previous episode. So I have to go with another, and this is controversial in the Trek community, but honestly, Star Trek Enterprise. It's a really good show, and it doesn't have the
Why are you
prequel
doing
problem
this? Why are you
because I'm
doing
trolling
this?
you. That's why. But Star Trek Enterprise is really good for many reasons, but it doesn't have the prequel problem that we discussed earlier because since it
Attack my
is
nose. My smile, my bulky body, stop attacking the Star Wars, brother.
I'm not attacking Star Wars. I'm just sharing the love of Star Trek, which is oft overlooked.
Yeah, whatever.
The Enterprise is actually good though. That I will say it is good.
Enterprise is really good.
I'd
So
rather watch
and
Futurama.
okay, Futurama's really good. So I can't really
I'm gonna
I
do a
can't
space show. I'll watch
I can't
Futurama.
I
Yeah.
can't disparage Futurama, but there's a lot of Star Trek jokes in Futurama. There's a
Oh my
lot,
A
God, you
lot of
need to
jokes.
get
I
a
like
life.
that.
No, hang on, hang on. Let me explain though.
Snoo.
Oh God, that's my favorite episode.
Death by Snoo Snoo. Yay!
Ugh, we need rest. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is spongy and bruised. But so Enterprise solves the prequel problem with it's obviously better shot than the original series, but the uniforms are jumpsuits because it's the very beginning of Starfleet. It's the bridge between like what we would consider modern day NASA to the Star Trek universe. Even the Starfleet logo is a little bit different. And the displays, so like even in the original series, they have the really fancy touchscreen displays, blah blah blah. So in
Mhm.
Enterprise, they have a more it's ironically a more modern setup, but it's closer to what we had in the day, like LCD monitors, that sort of digital display. And at one point when they switched to manual helmets and actual joystick, like I loved Enterprise. And I didn't watch it for years because everybody said, "Oh, it's so bad." And I watched it, I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about? This show is amazing."
I liked it, and I don't like Star Trek stuff. That's another show that my dad used to watch. To be fair though, I was much older when that show was out. I was like 13, 14 when he was watching it. But that I actually did sit and watch. And one of my favorites is the one where they bring back the evil universe.
Yeah,
That's a great
which
episode.
that's a thread through basically I think every Star Trek series, at least the ones that I've seen. But Enterprise is a really good starting point for people that may not be Star Trek fans, but it's a really good launch pad because Star Trek does have a reputation for being kind of boring at times, particularly Next Generation. I'm going to say it, it's true. Whereas Enterprise is a little bit more fast paced. It's got a little bit more action. It's got a little bit more espionage and political intrigue. So it's a good series.
Cool. Justin, recommendation for TV show, miniseries, or something.
So I think I mentioned this the last time I was on your guys' show, but I don't watch a ton of TV because I spend a lot of time watching movies. But I recently caught up with I really like Vice's Dark Side of the Ring. It's how I know as much about professional wrestling as I do. But I love that show because if all you've experienced professional wrestling through is that show, it is the most despair-filled profession you could possibly do. Like every wrestler either winds up dead or addicted to drugs or
It is a downer.
severely. My favorite ones are the episodes where one of the talking heads is the wrestler and you're like, oh, this is gonna have a happy ending. He's clearly alive to do the talking head interview. It's
That's
fine.
funny.
But the one I watched was the one, oh, with he was a British guy and he was just this like massive
British
monster of a
Bulldog.
person. No, not the British Bulldog, Chris something. He was the guy who he came up with he trained Stone Cold Steve Austin. He was the guy who was Stone Cold Steve Austin's original tag team partner when he first started out. And he was like they say in the episode of Dark Side of the Ring, they say that he had this light switch where he would go from being really nice to really mean. And he died because he was drinking and he was living with this fan who he like just on a dime started to choke out. And so the guy shot him in the chest in self-defense. But his like son is like, I don't think it was self-defense. But yeah, it's really dark, but it's really interesting learning about these professional wrestlers. And yeah, I enjoy it. It's a good show.
Yeah, a lot of them have really dark histories.
Yeah.
I mean, really dark histories. But there's also some that get good redemption stories too, like Jake the
True.
Snake.
Yes. Yeah, you're
You
right.
know,
Yeah.
so and even Scott Hall before he passed away, he had a really rough go there for a while. But
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell
They
you what, like,
did, yeah, they
DDP
do a
has done
yeah.
wonders
I was gonna say
for the wrestler.
they did a really awesome documentary, The Resurrection of Jake the Snake Roberts, that follows. You see Scott Hall get turned around too in that, and it's basically a DDP yoga documentary, but
I
Right.
I
So,
I mean, he
I
did it
learned
with
it.
uh oh my gosh, Butterbean.
yeah,
Like,
he's working with Butterbean now. Yep.
I
yeah, I
what
mean,
is your
that's insane. Like,
recommendation?
seen that transformation. He did amazing with him.
Yeah.
You're
I'm
thinking
not a
of
fan of the wrestling world, man. I like it, but it's not something that I actually get. Like I sit down and I can name some names, but it's not my thing.
yeah.
I
And Justin,
appreciate the
you're thinking of Chris Adams.
Thank you, Chris Adams. Yes, yes. He's a nutcase that his family in that episode is desperately trying to soften his edges. Like they're desperately trying to be like, oh, he was kind of a good person when every other person is like, no, he was a monster.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Chris Benoit episode, although nobody could really.
Justify what he did. Yeah.
Yeah, but you do have to feel for his oldest son, though, David Benoit, because he's not
Yeah.
defending his father. But I mean, he tried to get into the wrestling business a couple of times, but it's like, do I change my
Yeah.
name? Do I not? Because I mean,
Something
it is
weird.
my
Every
name.
time you talk about professional wrestling, this I'm not bullshitting you guys. For a reason, I start craving pizza. I don't know why.
It does go good with pro wrestling.
It does go.
Pro
Yeah,
wrestling's a
But
good thing.
that's
I'm
a good
not bullshitting
combination.
you. As soon every time I start talking for a reason, my mind goes like, what kind of pizza I'm
You know
gonna
what's
order?
hilarious? You know what's hilarious, Virus? So I watched WWE Backlash on Sunday, and honestly, first match is on, and I craved pizza. I almost
I
ordered
don't
one.
know.
I'm
There's a pre-programming there in a reason, dude.
I don't
Because I'm
know.
not a fan.
It was good though.
Uh,
Backlash was really good.
recommendation, TV show, TV series, or short film, or what you have for us,
It's Nick's turn, isn't it?
Nicky Boy?
Oh, I thought I did mine with Hell House LLC, but
Oh yeah, no, but that's the movie. We do it. Movie, TV show, series, crazy weird thing, and music.
so
Just one track.
TV show, TV show, even though it unfortunately got canceled after the third season, I found out, which is a shame because it was so good. I burned through it. But it's called Warrior, and it
Hmm.
wasn't HBO original, but it is on Netflix
Ah,
as well now. And
yeah.
that was a time period piece. Well, like in, I believe it was in New York, with the Irish at the time and the Chinese coming over for labor and things like that. So the whole uh Chinese gangs and martial arts. Martial arts plays a big key in that because the main lead is you for sure know he's supposed to be loosely based on Bruce Lee. So,
That's
and I
nice.
believe he actually played Bruce Lee in some of the biopics, if I'm not
Mm,
mistaken. Uh, he's got a very similar fighting style, body type, everything, but it's a really great story. Uh, really keeps you involved the whole time. So, highly recommend that one.
nice. Thank you. I got a theme one recommendation that I cannot let go, but then I'm gonna recommend a serious good thing. The Blue Harvest. If you haven't seen Family Guy, The Blue Harvest,
Oh, it's
you
really
don't
good.
deserve to love or hate Star Wars. It's amazing. The couch sequence is fantastic. The blue milk sequence. I mean, there's so many jokes there that is amazing. So the Blue Harvest is something that I recommend everyone. But my serious recommendation on Peacock, they just released a new show, a mini series, 6 episode called "The Tattooist of Auschwitz."
I
It's
haven't watched
brutally
it
good,
yet, but it's on my list.
brutally good. It's a
I haven't
love
seen it yet.
story of a survivor from Auschwitz on the Second World War, of a concentration camp, that he's forced to become a tattooist and tattoo every Jewish guy that comes into the place. So
Hmm.
it's a real. I just saw the first episode and it was so hard that I say, you know what, I'm just gonna go step by step because it's hard. I'm not Jewish, but still, right? I'm human. No, recommendation of a weird thing, Jake. And don't say Star Trek because I'm gonna fuck the fuck shit of you, bro. I love you
So
like shit, but come on.
actually, it is somewhat Star Trek related, but I think you'll appreciate it. If you're a fan of
I hope so.
If you're a fan of old Hanna-Barbera cartoons, you will love this.
Okay.
So there's a
Okay.
gentleman, and I cannot remember his name. I cannot remember. Back in the heyday of like Flash animation on the internet, he created a mini series called Stone Trek, which is Star Trek, but in the style of the Flintstones.
Oh, really? That
And
sounds
it
cool,
is
actually.
it is fucking hilarious. You can find the episodes on YouTube, but oh my God, it is too fucking funny because it's Dr. Leonard Rockoy, Mr. Sprock. I can't remember what Kirk is. Oh, I think it's just James T. Kirkstone. Or like it's fucking hilarious. It's there. So basically, they just parody a couple episodes from the original series, and then there's one episode I think they completely made up because it involves so the Vulcans aren't Vulcans, they're Volcanos, and it involves Volcano ear wiggling. It's
That's
so
funny.
oh my
That's
god,
funny.
it is hilarious.
That's funny. Justin,
So mine's something weird. I don't know that it's out yet, but it's thematically relevant, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention it. I know we did some shitting on Jar Jar Binks, but there's a Lego special that's coming out that has Darth Jar Jar in it, and I need it. It's a what if. It's like a what if style Star Wars story, and because of Darth Jar, I need it in my life. So
yeah.
it's a recommendation for you guys and for me as well. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out when it comes out. The trailer dropped, and I was like, this is
Actually,
amazing.
I'm curious. I'm
You're
curious.
you're gonna turn to the dark side, bomb.
It's voiced by Ahmed Best. It's the voice. It's
Is it
him
really?
doing it.
Oh
It
my
is.
God, that's
It's
awesome.
amazing.
Wow.
It's amazing. I fully recommend everyone watch
Now,
the
I will
trailer. It's
say
so good.
he got some redemption in, I believe, the Ahsoka series
Yes, he
when they
did. That
actually showed the sack of the Jedi Temple. He was a Jedi Master,
yes, that seems
Hmm.
like
also
not
sweet.
Jar Jar, but his. I
Yeah,
can't
Yeah.
remember his Jedi name, but Ahmed Best was an actual
Mhm.
like live action Jedi character who saved
that's cool.
some of the. So he got
That's
some
cool.
redemption for being Jar Jar.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm so
What
excited for
about
Darth Jar Jar.
your weird recommendation? What
Weird
you have?
recommendation.
Could
Obscure,
be a video
weird,
game,
odd.
a book, a funny thing, the best podcast in our company, Goosebump
Most
Crew.
crew.
Goosebumps crew.
For
You
the
can do
moment.
that.
But man,
2-time award-winning podcast, Goosebumps crew.
Look,
yeah,
you guys got a good guest I'm excited about. I'm just gonna be straight up. Like that's my favorite episode of Goosebumps.
That's everyone's
Uh
favorite episode of
yes,
yeah,
Goosebumps.
I'm
she was
jealous.
an
I'm jealous.
absolute delight. She was so cool. And the audio's up right now. We released the audios on Tuesday, but the video goes up tomorrow. So, and
Nice.
nobody's like, I've had people ask me, what she look like now? What she look like now? That's how reclusive
Absolutely,
she's been, is nobody knows what she
absolutely
looked like.
stunning is what she looks like.
And yeah, when I post that picture, like I actually had somebody say, that's not her. I'm like, yeah, it
That's
is. It's like,
so
but
cool.
okay.
Yeah, it
They're like,
is.
no, that looks nothing like how she looked. I'm like, it's been 30
I was
years.
gonna
Yeah.
It's
say,
like
what
people change in
was she
appearance.
what was she 14 in that episode? 14, 15?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I believe she was, yeah, like somewhere between 12 to
Yeah, maybe
14, if I
even
had to guess.
12. Yeah, because she was young.
Um, yeah. So, yeah, very excited for everybody to see that one because that was a great one. We'd love to have her back again at some point. But
That's a good
yeah,
recommendation.
I highly recommend catching that episode on our YouTube channel tomorrow.
That's a great
Not a
recommendation.
weird
Can
recommendation, but
can
it's a
I make a
recommendation.
music recommendation real quick?
That's the next
That's
one.
what's
Okay,
next.
That's
that's
the
the next
next
one.
one.
Okay. Cool. Because I got
So
one.
mine is gonna be a video game. Vader Immortal, exclusive for Oculus. If you're a Star Wars fan, and let me guide you to this. I just bought the Oculus when it got released, right? I'm talking about 8 years. The first one without a cable. And I bought it. I was super
Right.
excited. I pre-ordered it. It arrived, the Oculus Quest, and it includes the Vader one. So I paid for the Vader one, the first episode. As a fan of Star Wars, as a hardcore fan of Star Wars, what is the ultimate dream? Be in the movie. Well, here it's a side story where you are trained by Darth Vader and you actually play a story, and it's the best. Bro, I get goosebumps just to think the first time I grabbed my sable and go, it was like
That's
it's
cool.
it's a good story. I'm not gonna ruin it for everyone. It's a episode story. Now it's like $20 if you have the Oculus. It's like around 15 minutes every episode. And I played so many times that I'm a master now, Jedi. But every time I discover something new. Because with your left hand you use the force, right? Or you choose one hand, you have the lightsaber, you use the force, and you got to choose between the dark side of the force and and it's fantastic, guys. It's like it's a dream come true being inside the movie of Star Wars.
Or it makes me think of like the arcade game back in the day, and I can't remember the name of it, but you
The
actually
one
did get
with
to
the
play
Yeah, it was so good.
as I think Luke in that, and you have the lightsaber, and every time you
Yeah.
did move, it moved with you. I
which
cannot remember
one?
the name of the
I
game.
think it's
But
just called
which
It had
one?
Star
three
Wars the
different
arcade
levels
game.
to play on
Yeah, I
too.
think
I don't
Uh,
remember that one.
I
there was
do.
I
one
think
that
it
had
was just Star
indoor.
Wars the arcade.
There was a
Yeah.
Hoth one, and then like
But
if
during
you
the
beat
during the
Hoth,
in
that's
the
when you fought
during the
Vader.
in the ship, right? During the
Yeah.
ship, you're a pilot.
Yeah, but
Oh
there
yeah,
are levels where you have
yeah, I
lightsaber
remember.
duels and the joystick is your
The
saber.
joystick, yeah, no,
Yeah.
bro. If you guys have Oculus, I highly recommend that you leave that experience because it's deep, bro. It's deep because the graphics are really good. The emotion of you fighting Vader is like what the fuck. I mean, he stands in front of you in the first 5 minutes, and you can feel him like he's 6'6", right? And you actually look up, you can be the chosen one. It's like fucking amazing. So yeah, highly recommend it.
You can be the chosen one.
That's
Just
makes me
get
think
on
of
your
also like
knees.
Battlefront 2. Did anybody play that besides me? Like
I
Star Wars
I, I play
Battlefront 2?
Battlefront through. I
Which
play it. I like
Oh,
it.
I
I
love
was gonna
that
say,
one.
which one? The good one or the
So
bad one?
good. No, the good one. Not
It
that
was for
like
PlayStation, right?
extended
Yeah.
edition.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
is
I like it.
Battlefront 2 good? Because I hated Battlefront 1.
Battlefront 2 is so like the original PS2 one's so good. They're doing a re-release and I'm so excited because it's
Yeah,
genuinely
the
really good.
original PS2
Yeah.
was really good.
Yeah, the EA one's
Yeah,
bad.
that was
Bad.
so
Although the
good.
story mode's pretty good in the EA ones.
Okay, it's the EA
Ransacking the
one I
Jedi
played.
Temple was like the best thing in that game, and I just could not get enough of it.
So maybe we can buy. Boss Jake, can we buy Oculus for everyone in the company and send them so we can all play together Star Wars,
I
please?
don't know. I think that depends on how the next couple of months go.
Right?
Wink, 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 hint, hint.
We got a
Stay
lot of news to
tuned.
share in the future. Um, Music, Jake. And if you don't
So,
say again and forever, I'm gonna fucking hate you because you've been trolling me all fucking day.
well, you don't have a Star Trek theme.
You don't have a Star Trek
I
song.
will make one that is called "Fuck You, Jake."
I would be honored if you
Fuck
went to the
you,
trouble of
Jake. Fuck you, Jake.
Fuck you.
to
That's
the
all it
tune
is.
of
It's just
the
fuck you,
Star.
Jake, in the Star Wars tempo. So
I'll take it. I will take it. So no, my music
No, go ahead.
recommendation is the theme, the opening theme of Star Trek
Jesus
Enterprise,
Christ.
Faith of the Heart.
I mean, it's a good song
It's a
though.
good song. Now, Star Trek fans, it's become a meme in the Trek community, but when it first debuted, most people hated it. And I remember I was taken aback when I first heard it because I was unaware of it. I was not expecting that. I was like, "Oh, that's different," but I like it. And it's cool because they have a bunch of like the whole theme of the show is exploration, right? So they go through like it's going through the animations and there's like schematics of like an old colonial era sailboat that's named the Enterprise all the way up to like the modern spaceship and then it shows the first Starship Enterprise. It's really freaking cool. And at one point it shows the aircraft carrier, the USS Enterprise. It's pretty sweet. It's a good song.
Oh, Justin.
So okay, so my joke one is to keep it thematically relevant once again, there is a Star Wars musical, and you can look up there's a song from it called One Season More that it's honestly really good. It's got kind of a Disney vibe to it. It's basically Luke Skywalker's equivalent to the Disney I Want song. It's honestly a good song. Totally recommend it. But my serious answer is I wound up on the YouTube page of a band called Again and Forever. And
What a beautiful man.
I really liked their interpretation of all the things she said.
Thank you.
I'm honestly not blowing smoke up your ass. I genuinely liked it. I was impressed by
Thank
it. I was
you.
like, oh, this is different. I'm really driving with this. So
I
yeah, I took a peek through some of your catalog today.
I have
Thank
to
you, man.
share I have to share a funny story about that song. So the only bad thing about being friends with Max is you get to hear and see things well before they're released, but because of the nature of them,
Well
you
before.
can't you can't say anything. It's just out of respect for my friend. If I wanted to be a real asshole, I could have told people, but like no. And I heard that song, Justin, like what was it, 3 or 4 months before it was released?
Even more. Probably we finished that
Oh,
in
maybe five
September
or
of last
five
year.
or six.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I heard I'm like, that's so fucking good. When does it come out? And he's like, months away.
It's not
Months
ready
Like
away.
probably
quite yet.
February.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh fuck, you can't do that to me.
I went searching for the first episode of your new podcast. And I was like, well, I'm here. Let's check out some of the music. And yeah, I quite liked it. So I
That's cool.
recommend
Thank
it
you.
to
Thank you.
everybody.
Good job. You
It's
see,
very
Jake, you see how
nice.
easy it is to be a good
Don't
person?
don't act like I haven't recommended it. I've already recommended Again and Forever, but I recommended Kamikaze.
I know. Kamikaze is really good.
It's really good.
Nick, music
Mm.
recommendation, whatever you want.
I've been digging a lot of Papa Roach lately, and their recent single "Leave a Light On" is pretty good.
Yeah,
I
it's
definitely
really good.
recommend that, especially since it's uh, Mental Health Awareness Month. So, highly recommend that.
Ooh.
Oh, we're in Mental Awareness Month? Okay, sorry, Jake. I know that you think that Star Trek is better than Star Wars. It's Mental Health Month, man. I'm sorry.
Star Trek is better than Star Wars.
Yeah, it's okay, buddy. It is. It's okay, buddy. It is.
Whatever you say, buddy.
This is
It's
so
okay, buddy.
it's so
It's okay,
condescending.
buddy. No, it's not. It's okay, buddy. My
Today.
recommendation, I'm really proud because this company has been growing so much. More than just having a lot of podcasts. We're a really big family. The proof of the concept here is we have the sport of the moment and Goosebump crew here representing all the time, and we're becoming bigger and faster and better, and we own our record label now. This is for all the audience, and I can even express the feeling that I have because the first release that we have as a record label and a management company is Balena, and they reached number 3 in the metal list in iTunes in the first 24 hours of releasing the album Save Me From Myself. And now we got the green light. The song "Cut Me to the Quick," Jake, right, is going out to be the first single in the radio, and I'm so happy because that
Seriously.
song initiate the whole thing what Valena is, and I'm really proud. Rachel probably is listening. Congratulations, Rachel, and to all your band. If you haven't listened to it, Valena, go in every possible platform. It's number 3. It has somebody that I don't know, then Metallica, and then Valena. And
No
we're an
shit.
independent record label,
Yeah.
thanks to every one of you guys that are here with me in the podcast, and everyone that is working hard. So Save Me From Myself from the band Valena, Rachel Black is the singer, the guitar player, Hunter the bass player, Animal the drummer. They're doing really good. So
So no
yeah,
bullshit. No bullshit too. The whole album is really good. Cut Me to the Quick is my personal favorite, but there's a lot of really close ones. It's
yeah.
a
I mean,
fucking good album.
and they're doing what it's supposed to be done with an album. You travel to the journey from "Cut Me to the Quick" till the last track of the album. The last track of the finish, 3 seconds after you listen, Rachel says, "Wake up." That's how the album finished. So it's a whole journey that you need to embrace. How she transformed from a person that was in an abusive relationship and suffered abuse to wake up to be a powerful woman that has a rock metal band behind that. So that's something to recognize and right. And it's a whole experience, right? So yeah, if you can listen to it, it's in every platform. If you can buy it in iTunes, that will be even better,
And I don't
right?
care.
We're
And I
releasing
don't. Yeah.
vinyls. We're
And I don't.
releasing everything next
Yeah.
week.
And I don't care what anybody says. I really like Rachel's screamy screams.
Blah. Yeah, her blasts are and her screams are good. So thank you everyone for being in Tune Talk 2.2. 2.2, right? I just
2.2
changed it. 2.0. I just changed the fucking name. Who cares? You've been bitching about Star Trek all day, so I can do whatever I want.
all day. Really? It's been like 2 hours.
That's my whole day, Jake. That's my whole day.
He
But it's
woke
okay,
up.
2 hours
buddy.
too long.
But it's okay, buddy. It's okay. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Nick.
Hey, thanks,
Remember,
Thank
guys.
you for having
sport
us.
of the moment, Goosebumps crew. Thank you, Jake. It's always a pleasure to be bothered by you, but it's okay, buddy. It's just okay. This month is okay. Thank you, everyone. I love to do the love thing because I love how the love comes. Look at that beauty. Aw, feels so good. Actually, I need to
Now
try.
burn
Can
that
I
Star
go
Trek
like
uniform.
this? Like,
You can't complete the heart;
yeah,
it's too low.
it didn't work.
Will it work upside
Anyway,
down?
It didn't work.
it didn't work, but I mean, everybody understood the joke. Thank you, everyone. Peace out.
Yep. Live long and prosper.
Jesus Christ, got the